もできないから、ただ見てるだけだけど。日本のおすすめの場所？そう。どこですか？東ヨーロッパに行ってみたいって言ったら、ウクライナ人が
What it do, what it do, what it do, what it do, what it do. Should play upon the Ziggy 2 times with the Coffee and Blunts morning show. This is the sports news edition. We got sports news today, man. Ain't nobody doing nothing extra besides sports news. I'm the hottest one doing sports news this morning with a coffee and a blunt in their hand. You already know what it is, man. Play upon the Ziggy 2 times. Me and this bitch. I ain't get a chance to come back and play with y'all again last night. I ain't gonna flex. I had some stuff come up. Had to run off and go do something. And lost track of time. Came back and I was knocked out, tired. Ain't gonna flex. So we ain't even deal with none of that stuff that I dealt with yesterday. But me and this bitch today. You know, this is a day where I gotta go to work, but shit, we still love, we still show love, we still come up and pop up and do whatever we do we supposed to do. You know what I mean? So with all that being said, let's go on and get into the show. You know what I mean? Do 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 do. Do do do. Chase you out of earth. Lucifer, Lucifer. All right, man, we lagging a little bit. What's going on? Got a big old spike, man. We lagging like a bit. But we gonna make it. We gonna make it. I tried to switch scenes, but we started lagging like a hoe. All right,
Williamson's
let's
career
get
has
into
been
it.
extremely disappointing. And it's not because he doesn't have the talent. He does. He just doesn't try hard. Not only has his game not really developed, he can't stay healthy. And part of that has to do with his weight issues. In the few games that he plays, and he does play well, he always has some level of drama going on, either with his baby mamas or with OnlyFans models.
Well, now that your NBA career is officially potentially over, that means no money for me equals no money for you. Pick your battles wisely. Okay? Next time you run off on the plug, just know there's consequences.
But you're not the plug. Shut
Bye.
up.
And despite disappointing a whole city and an entire franchise for about 5 to 6 years, things are getting worse for Mr. Zion Williamson. We all know what Deshaun Watson went through. We see what Diddy's currently going through. We also see what Shannon Sharp is going through. And many of you are seeing what Tory Lanez is going through. Now it seems it is Zion Williamson's time to go through the grinder. And of course, this has everything to do with some allegations of a young lady that he dealt with from 2018 to 2023. These allegations include rape, physical assault, and abuse, occurring in over 3 states, including California, Louisiana, and Texas. As you know, when opinions like this come out, people start having court before this thing even goes to the judge.
Right. Zion Williamson just got added to the list. When you get the money, you get the power, you think you're invincible, can do whatever you want to, force yourself on whoever you want to, and you can get away with it. Of course, nothing has been proven in court. This is all accusations at this point. But even that can ruin your interest. Watch his fan base grow. Watch his supporters double.
Yeah,
It's
that'd be
always like accountability. That has been the highlight of the last 2-3 weeks. We talking accountability amongst other men, and watch men for to come out the woodwork defending them. Oh, she just want money. Oh, there ain't really no proof. It's just he say, she say.
I mean, until it's proven it is.
Sometimes
just
men are just bad people.
Boy, you don't sit your stupid ass down. Who the fuck you think you is?
Like, seriously, who is this guy? I mean, this guy seems ridiculous. Don't get me wrong. In the case of somebody like Diddy, that's true. But the guy is already acting as
Goodness, I stream every day, twice a day. Every day, twice a day. Morning shift, third shift. So catch me, if you can't stay now, catch me in the night shift around 1 o'clock a.m. Eastern Standard Time.
if this is already occurring and he's completely guilty, which in my honest opinion, I don't believe so. All I gotta say, bro, kissing booty like that for ladies is not gonna get you any cheeks.
Hell no, to the no, 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 hell to the no.
And then there are others.
Of the belief, as just watching other things happen in sports that have been in this same realm, that the Pelicans have to immediately cut Zion Williamson, right?
This particular
great
person believes that
kidnap
this is
and
the
torture.
last straw for Zion Williamson and the Pelicans. It's just another excuse to get his ass out of the door. But then there are more concerned individuals.
Just because that BBL is doing something to your spirit don't mean that you need to be up in it. Just because she talking good in your ear, just trying to get it bad, that don't mean that's the type of woman that's for you.
We can all be aware that, yes, men have to start making better choices when we discuss women or the kind of women that we want to deal with. And I guess not every BBL is clappable, and he's right. You got to stay out of people's cheeks.
Random ass ads, they're trying to fit into your regular viewing.
And I'm not doubting any of that at all, right? I mean, all of that is good information. But the reality is this. You see, if a man did all of these things to a woman, the question is, number one, why do you stay? Any woman who has been in such a relationship for over 5 years, by this time, should have left the relationship. I mean, there's no way that you should stay. You should report these things to the police. I mean, he had money in 2020, he had money in 2021, he had money in 2022, he had money in 2023. And around this same time, it appears that he wasn't being faithful to you. He was dealing with Mariah Mills at the same time, and most likely dealing with his baby's mom. So he had a lot of women that he was dealing with. So you have every opportunity, or you had every opportunity to basically leave the relationship, which is something that any person, male or female, should do. The question is, why don't you leave? Now, I understand it's easy for a person to use the, well, I was abused and it hurt. Or she hit me in the face and I didn't know what to do, family. Cool. You got hit in the face with a few sandals and a few pieces of peanut butter and bread. Got it. It hurt so much you wanted to stay. So then why didn't you just go? I mean, if you felt that your life was in danger, if you felt that you were being harmed, if you felt that, you had issues, why didn't you go? And that's a question I want to ask any man or woman in any sort of domestic relationship in 2025, where you have all of these resources out here. There are helplines. There are people that you can talk to. There are groups. You can be more adamant about it. You can be more open about it. You have every resource in the world today to express why you should leave such a relationship. So why don't you do it? Number two, why didn't you call the police? It would seem to me that if you were being assaulted, then you should call the police. Obviously, these are criminal charges, and we can see that when it came with the allegations against Tory Lane, somebody called the police. And if you call the police, even if you don't want to press charges, Well, what will happen is if the state finds it necessary or deems it necessary, the state will just pick the case up and you can't do anything about it. So why not give the opportunity to the state to basically press charges against such an individual? Seems like to me this is something that should happen, but it didn't. This individual doesn't want to go to the police and still doesn't want to go to the police because this lawsuit that this person is filing, of course, stop the show, we don't know their name, but this person is 24 years old and they are doing the same thing that Gabriella Zuniga did, which is press civil charges on Zion Williamson. And you already know what this means. It means that, hey, listen, if you have enough money, literally you can buy me out. And what I typically believe is they probably have some level of evidence of like admitting to something that was wrong on text messages or videos or something like that. You know, nobody's perfect. And then what you're seeing right now is, okay, listen, Zion, give us $10 million and we'll go away. And Zion is probably not agreeing with that. So now they're saying, all right, well, listen, let's go ahead on and file the civil case and we'll do the same thing that Gabriella Zuniga is doing to Shannon Sharpe. And thirdly, why do you wait until now? And the reason why you wait until now, in my honest opinion, is because, well, you didn't get the upfront money that you were looking for. And he said no. And this is exactly what Zion Williamson's attorney, Michael Balacio, said. We take these allegations with the utmost seriousness and we unequivocally deny them. The allegations contained in the complaint are categorically false and reckless. So my questions is, what if this person is lying?
I wonder if I should raise my prices.
What should happen to them?
One unpopular opinion that I have that could make people want to me is women that make false accusations about men when it comes to rape, molestation, harassment, assault, all those things. Those women need to serve time in prison. I did not say that they should pay a fine. I said they need to serve time, go to prison. For those of you that want to say that I sound like a pick-me or whatever the case may be, I don't care about that. And the reason why I don't care about that is because it could be your brother, it could be your uncle, it can be your father, it can be your cousin, it can even be your grandfather, it can be any male figure that is significant in your life. You also need to understand that, one, there are women out there that are just straight grimy. They get mad at you, they want to get petty, they want to see you suffer, so they try to formulate those kinds of accusations to ruin your life. Women like that, why should we let them walk free?
Yes, an individual should go to jail if these are false allegations. Now, again, one of the incidents in the lawsuit says that Williamson raped the woman when she tried going to sleep. Williamson calls her stuck up.
I honestly didn't think this was going to be no great
that she could not go
video.
to sleep unless he.
I thought he was going to get traded to like the Washington Wizards or something.
Williamson pinned her down and then to the cheek.
So
again, this is something
great
that is above a civil case. This is a
video.
case that needs to have the police involved.
Right.
And again, men, we really have to make sure how we're handling women in today's time.
We're going to finish it up,
not
though, but
1990s or 1980s. I mean, these are serious allegations. And if you have money, you don't have to worry about going to jail. You just got to worry about your money leaving your account. And people at the game have already found out what those civil lawsuits are like. If you miss court, you can end up like Soulja Boy owing $4 million. These things are serious. They don't want you to go to jail. They want your cash. So you have to really make sure of how you're handling things. So guys, what do you think? It's your boy O'Shea Duke Jackson back at it again with another episode of The Celebrity Junk. I appreciate you for all that you do. Subscribe, hit the bell. We're out.
yeah, I'm sitting here thinking this is actual like
Putting myself through a little upgrade,
real,
changing my
real
body
fucking-
image. All it takes.
real fucking news or something. I thought that like he was going to get traded to some shitty ass team like the Wizards or the Hornets or some shit. Come to find out he's out here graping bitches and shit. I don't. Hey. True or false, neither here nor there for me, man. You don't produce in your field. Whatever happens, happens. I hate that it happens, but shit, if you out there doing wild shit and you're not being the best person out there on the court or whatever, then you just fucking around all the way around. So you got 2 or 3 babies all in the same age and shit by different bitches and shit. And you out here graping hoes, and then you not even making it to All-Star games. Like, nigga, pick a fucking struggle. Like, guarantee.
I don't want to make a
Just say it real quick, man. Guarantee. If I get caught up on some weird ass crazy shit, I guarantee all the rest of my shit is gonna be in order. Or I'm gonna be fucked up in the game and not doing none of that shit. Where I am now. The fuck you mean? Not, man, fuck out of here. Raping chicks. Come on. Kidnapping, torture. You a millionaire. You could just go buy the bitch. Just buy her up front. No red pill, but like, just pay the bitch. You ain't gotta do all that extra stuff. Fee.
big deal out of this. But some pretty interesting information trickled over my phone.
I don't see the other guy impressing at all. And I'm not trying to be personal with him.
Right,
He
sure.
does not look like an NFL quarterback. And 31 other draft rooms didn't think he was a second-day pick.
Well, now tune in to the Dark Times channel.
And so here we go again. Welcome back to the Dark Times channel. And so my, as the great Johnny Gill would say, it looks like Colin Cowherd has done a 180.
Okay, you know, people, everybody's trying to sell you. I got scouts telling me he's a 5th or a 6th round talent. All I know, with very average personnel outside of Travis Hunter, against the very best teams he played. They didn't win games, but he was highly productive. And a lot of college quarterbacks against the best teams with better teammates weren't as productive. Size, movement, accuracy, I like him. I know I didn't love the legendary draft room stuff. I thought it was lacked a little self-awareness. But again, you're 21, you're 22, you know, we were all running around pulling fire hydrants in college. So, I mean, you know, we the pull the lever in college dorm rooms. I mean, we were all idiots at some point. We all had, you know, lack of judgment or self-awareness. So I'm not going to crush anybody for that.
But that's the issue. Everybody did crush Shedeur for that. People didn't like the watch. People didn't like that he's driving a Bentley to school. People didn't like a lot of things about Shedeur. Right. Let's call it like it is. He's a rich kid. He grew up rich. But you shouldn't hate an individual for how they grew up and their personality, especially at 21. It is what it is, but he's young and he's got a lot of learning to do. And so some of those things that he did during the press conference, wearing the hat backwards and wearing the jewelry, wearing the drip, as they say, a lot of kids do that. But, you know, it hits a little bit differently when it's Deion Sanders' son. And so he did get crushed for that, unfortunately. But now Shedeur is in an NFL camp surrounded by NFL talent.
That boy
and now his talent is undeniable. People are finally seeing it for what it is. And even if they still don't like him and they still don't like Deion Sanders, they can't deny that Shedeur Sanders is putting that ball where it's supposed to be. And that's what you want from a quarterback. Anticipation and accuracy trumps everything else.
It appears in the 4-quarterback derby. Again, not a mathematician, but one of them has more TDs than completions. That feels important to me. Despite the fact that Shedeur Sanders had the fewest attempts, he was the most efficient and most productive with the fewest reps. So the quarterback tracker for those radio audience members, Flacco was 9 for 14 and a touchdown. Pickett, 9 for 16, no touchdown. Dylan Gabriel, 11 of 16, 2 touchdowns and a pick. And Sanders, 7 of 9, 3 touchdowns.
No picks.
No picks.
All right.
This, Justin, I've seen enough. I'm calling it a wrap. The Herd Newsroom is calling it in Ohio. By a landslide, Shedeur Sanders should be starting.
And so absolutely, you got to start Shedeur Sanders. And not just because of what we're seeing right now in training camp and OTAs, not because of that. You know, that's good to see. That's a good sign to see of what is possibly to come. But if I'm the Cleveland Browns, and I've said this before in several videos now, if I'm the Cleveland Browns, I got to find out what I got. And it's looking like Dylan Gabriel, according to a lot of people, is not really up to par as far as being an NFL quarterback, at least not yet.
I don't see the other guy impressing at all. And I'm not trying to be personal with it.
Right,
He does not look like an NFL quarterback. And 31 other draft rooms didn't think he was a second-day pick.
I think it should be Shador from day one. When we had Mark Sanchez in New York as a rookie, he started from day one. Things worked out. We had a couple years of really good success. But if I'm Cleveland, Joe Flacco is a great backup. He's going to be 40. I would have Dylan Gabriel compete with Shador. I'm assuming that Shador will beat him out. I think he has more ability. And by the end of the season, the Cleveland Browns, Christine, have to know what they have in Shador Sanders and Dylan Gabriel. Well, Kenny Pickett just hasn't worked out. He's been a little bit of a journeyman. Maybe you trade him at the end of training camp. But to me, job 1, 2,
Kenny
and 3
Pickett got a ring,
is you
though.
need to know what you have in Sanders and
Kenny Pickett
Dylan
got a
Gabriel.
ring.
And I would play those guys right away.
You got to
Put them
have him in there just for the
competition. And in
ability
my
to say
view,
that he's
Shador
been through
has more ability,
playoffs.
and I assume he'd be the guy.
And that was the former GM speaking. I believe he was a general manager of the Jets at some point. And so that's the logical thing to do. Any logical general manager who values his job and who values the organization, they want to find out what they got, especially if they got 2 first-round draft picks the following year, and it's supposed to be a really good quarterback draft, allegedly. You know, who really knows? They always say that this draft is good, that draft is bad, but nobody really knows. Because according to all the experts, this was a so-called weak quarterback draft. But in my opinion, we had 2 heavy hitters in this draft. I believe we had 2 Hall of Fame quarterbacks in this draft. One of them being Shador Sanders and the other one being Cam Ward. You know, only time will tell. But if you watch these guys play in college, you can tell they got something. They got something a little bit different than some of the other quarterbacks that we've seen go. But like I said, only time will tell. But as far as the Cleveland Browns go, it's in their best interest to start Shador Sanders. I think they should go ahead and start the season with him. And if things don't pan out, if he's not headed in the right direction and he's not improving week to week, I don't think he necessarily has to win games, because according to that schedule, they got one of the roughest schedules to start the season. So I don't think he necessarily has to win games. But at the same time, he has to
I'm a
show
Raiders
improvement
fan.
week to week, just like
And
any
I'm
other
a
quarterback would be able to do.
season by season
And if he's not
Seahawk
showing
guy.
improvement, they can go ahead and put Dylan Gabriel in or whoever else in
Raiders all
and see
day.
what they got with that particular quarterback.
What
But
about
if it
you,
does
man? What
pan
about
out
you?
with Shador Sanders, and he's the guy, well, now you got 2 first-round draft picks. You can go out and get a receiver. You can go out and get a tight end. You can go out and get some of these other skill positions and build around Shador. And now the Cleveland Browns are in a position where they don't have to pay a quarterback first-round money. They can pay him fifth-round money for the next 4 years and
Yeah,
fill out
legit
the rest
team.
of the roster. That's how you build dynasties. That's how you win championships. And so in the end, like we've all been saying, things could work out really good for Shador Sanders, and things can work out really good for the Cleveland Browns as well. And so the fate of the Cleveland Browns really rests in Shador Sanders' hands, because if Shador Sanders, like I said, if he turns out, if he is that guy, if he is that franchise quarterback,
Dolphins ain't
well,
bad.
you got an organization that is going to be in a really, really good position for years to come.
Dolphins are pretty
But
good
those
team.
are my thoughts on it anyways. Make sure you guys go ahead.
Yeah, when it comes down to football, like all of this stuff is kind of revolves. So like it's more so you fall in love with the history more so than what they doing now. Because all of these teams were good at one time or another, and all of them suck now at one time or another. That's just how it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be a lot of parity or whatever in the league.
The mushroom.
So yeah, if you pick a team, just pick a team and stick with it. If you like another team, just make sure it's outside of the conference of that main team, and you should be good, man.
That guy needs to stay in California and go,
Thank
go
you.
somewhere and choose.
Like I grew up playing American football, so I just love everything about football. So if you ever want some football knowledge, some football understanding, come on through. We will be playing Madden when it comes out this year, so I'll be able to break down a lot of this stuff, man, because it's a lot easier to show it if you see it, you know? So, yeah, for sure, for sure.
You won't bark.
The NFL season is 99 days away. I got 99 bills, but Bosa ain't one. Sorry. Please don't unsubscribe. I am a little worried about how things are currently shaping up for the Buffalo Bills, the Bengals, and the Steelers. Last offseason, when everyone was complaining about the loss of Stephon Diggs and the Bills' reluctance to properly replace him, I did not fret. I stated, look what the Chiefs did with the similar supporting cast of ball catchers. That said, I feel like I have more questions about the Bills heading into the 2025 season than I did last year. Off-season training programs started this week for most NFL teams, and the Bills already lost Joey Bosa to injury. James Cook's not at OTAs. It's not an official holdout, but he's not there. Aaron Rodgers still is not committed to the Steelers, and the Kirk Cousins to the Steelers rumors are gaining steam.
Wait, you're in England. What's your soccer team or football team?
The Bengals currently have both of their most important defensive players holding out.
And if you tell me Tottenham, I'm kicking you out of here.
So today I, Brandon Perna, football whisperer and known coffee peddler, will discuss why I'm worried about the aforementioned three.
Respectable. I like Liverpool. I can watch them. They're actually a decent team. Like, maybe not last year. Last year they was kind of boo-boo. I'm a Manchester United guy.
Teams here on That's Good Sports.
I'll put some football in my sports roundup for next week for sure.
Don't forget to subscribe to this YouTube channel. We crossed 750,000 subs. Thank you guys so much. And don't forget, it's never too early to start fucking the refs over at benchwarmershop.com, where you can pay to fuck the refs. Ooh, yeah. It's coffee. It's my coffee, in case you were wondering. The Steelers. Aaron Rodgers has not shown up for Steelers OTAs.
What the fuck were you doing?
We could have all predicted that sentence to be true months ago. What's becoming increasingly concerning if you are a Steelers fan is that Aaron Rodgers still is not a Steeler. He's not at OTAs because he is not on the team.
The neurological conditions, and it's crazy.
I'm not suggesting Steelers fans even are hoping for Rodgers at this point, but let's be honest, the chances of being competitive this season are greater if Aaron Rodgers is on the roster.
Feeding some hungry butts.
You just need Rodgers to say, yes, I am playing for the Steelers.
Not how they
each
play.
passing day that doesn't happen, it looks less and less likely. Although he did hint that a certain team plays the Bears on the road this season.
Will Aaron Rodgers ever go to the Bears?
No, but I believe there's a team that might play in Chicago this year.
And while many people think that means the Steelers, don't rule out the Browns, who also play the Bears on the road this season. Look, my favorite thing about Aaron Rodgers is still the hypocrisy. He was at a live recording of the You Never Know podcast in Austin, and Rodgers said,
I love Chicago, though, way more than they love me. It's been a great relationship, all one way.
And then he said,
and what does every coach that signs at the Bears
Eventually,
say?
it's always going to come back to
You gotta beat the
whoever
Packers,
was
right?
good before is going to be good again. Because the systems always make sure that everyone
Packers don't give a
stays in a good space.
never change, Aaron. I love Chicago way more than they love me. Also, nobody gives a shit about the Bears. The people of Chicago should love me, and also fuck the people of Chicago. Yeah, that sounds exactly like the thing someone who leads an emotionally abusive relationship
I like watching
would
Liverpool
say.
the last couple of years.
What should
has
be
been decent to
sounding
watch.
the alarm
A lot
bells
better
for
looking than
Steelers
us, I'll
fans
tell you
is
that
that the
much.
longer Rodgers
But,
stays
you know, we got,
uncommitted, the stronger the Kirk
football out here
Cousins to the
stateside, so,
Steelers scenario becomes a real
Atlanta
possibility.
United ain't
Kirk
half
Cousins
bad
did not
either.
show up for the Falcons OTAs.
You know,
Maybe
so,
that's a sign
yeah.
he won't play for
It's a
them
little
this
hope to
year.
watch
Serious
something
question though for Steelers fans: would you rather have Aaron Rodgers or Kirk Cousins on your roster this season? Let me know. Let me know below.
Man.
And I get it. It's a real Sophie's choice.
Yeah, that is a tough decision. Aaron Rodgers or Kirk Cousins. And I would rather probably pick Kirk. And that's terrible to say.
And I'm sure many of you would choose seppuku instead. This is what Terry Bradshaw said about Aaron Rodgers.
Guy needs to stay in California and go,
Thank
go
you.
somewhere and,
Thank
and
you.
chew on bark and whisper to the gods out there.
All right, Terry. Are you telling me
He said he need
you're
to stay
not
where
going
he
to
ain't,
let
go whisper
Rodgers
to some
wear
gods.
your retired number 12 as a Steeler? Also, I wish Terry was allowed to be this funny on TV.
You know, you walk in there and you get in his presence and you feel like it's going to start snowing.
You get in his presence and you feel like it's going to start snowing? That's gold, Terry. Gold. It seems like Terry's bigger point and the concern a lot of Steelers fans have is that Rodgers does not solve the Steelers' long-term problems. They keep trying to Band-Aid the QB position and eke out a winning record. Plus, if Rodgers was all in on the Steelers, he would have committed to them by now. Just providing that clarity would go a long way, even if he still skipped OTAs.
It would be a surprise if Aaron Rodgers is not in the Steelers right now. I'm not saying he's made a decision. I'm not saying
they don't
retirement's
have a quarterback at all.
It would be a surprise.
He's not even a
think
Steeler,
they
and it feels
re-signed
like he's
Mason
already
Rudolph.
asking Steelers fans
But
to
that's it.
appreciate him before he even arrives. Pittsburgh simply hasn't made a significant enough investment at quarterback since Big Ben retired. Sure, you got great value on Justin Fields and Russell Wilson last year. Let them both go. You're not the 2002 Oakland A's. You should be spending big money or draft picks to fix the most important position on your team. They don't catch
they got a
enough
lot of
heat
shit
for
on
not
their team.
having a succession plan post
They just
Ben,
got a wide
aside
receiver,
from
but he's
spending
kinda
the
10
20th
years
pick
in.
on the top quarterback in a historically bad QB class. And ever since then, they've been merely trying to get by at that position, and all the while, they've wasted the
They really
prime
should've just
of their
stayed with
core
Justin
defensive
Fields.
stars. Core defensive stars. Things the Bengals
just kept
do
Justin
not have.
Fields,
The
honestly.
only team in the NFL that could alienate their veteran pass rusher and their rookie pass rusher, who is their plan B if their veteran pass rusher does hold out, is the Cincinnati fucking Bengals. They're still bangling this one, guys. And again, I really
Travis Hunter is a freak athlete. He's gonna be a great player, but right now he has a whole lot of polish. He needs to get on his game. He's learning as he's going still, but he really just got by this entire time by just being a freak athlete. And it's starting to show, but then it's already getting fixed. As we're talking shit about it, he's already changed up his everything. And it looks cleaner on both sides, which is ridiculous. So that means he has an incredible capacity to learn this shit, and his body is able to still fix it and do it at an elite level. At least from comparing to first team, second team on the Jaguars, which is not saying a lot because they're really not a good team. So, but still, if he's learning on the go against legit NFL players and he's starting to break out of that weird, I don't really know what I'm doing, but my body just moves where it's supposed to get shit done. It's ridiculous. Travis Hunter is going to be a great ass player.
wish there was a better word to describe this scenario, but there is not.
The stuff he can do with his
Bang
body
on
is
it.
crazy.
Trey Hendrickson still wants a new contract, and even though I
His
disagree
route
with the
running was
Bengals'
terrible, though,
unwillingness
with the
to
first
pay
couple
him,
OTA
I
camps,
actually
but
understand the
the third, fourth,
complexities
fifth,
of
when
that
they did full
situation
team
due
stuff,
to Hendrickson's
crispy.
age. What is
Elite,
concerning
almost
is that
like
the
Ocho
Bengals
Cinco
are
type
trying
stuff.
to add language to the rookie contract that Stewart and his agent do not want in it.
Which is a stupid thing to say.
Cincinnati drafted the edge rusher at pick 17. Rookie contracts, of course, are 90% boilerplate and 10% negotiable on bullshit like guarantees, offsets, and default clauses. Essentially stuff none of us should ever really care about. Shit so insignificant that the Bengals are the only team with the rookie opposed to what they're trying to add. For Stewart specifically, per Mike Florio, the Bengals want to include a phrase that causes a default in the current year to trigger a default in all remaining years, something that would essentially make it easier for the Bengals to cut him, okay? The problem is that the contract signed by last year's first-round pick tackle Amarius Mims does not include the language that the Bengals are now attempting to insert forcibly into Stewart's deal. And Mims was taken one spot lower in 2024 at 18 to Stewart 17. If Trey Hendrickson was happy, extended, or just, locked in to play for 2025, we might not be talking about Shamar Stewart's contract hiccup. Instead, a giant spotlight is now illuminating how stubborn and wrong the Bengals front office continues to be. There are a few first-round rookies who haven't signed their deals yet, but Stewart is the only one to refuse to sign because of a problem with the contract itself. Not only have the Bengals made a mountain out of a molehill, they're lying on top of that mountainous molehill and they are dry humping it, hoping nobody will notice. Oh,
Right.
God, Perna, why did you have to use dry humping as a metaphor? Because it's something that really brings pleasure to nobody. And both sides usually just walk away chafed. That's not a Bengals contract situation. I don't know what is.
Feeding some hungry butts.
Whatever this new language is that the Bengals want in their first-round rookie contracts,
Someone's crawling on me.
Honeybook has handled all of my
Scared as
proposal,
fuck.
my contract.
But they trying to handle that deal. It's right now.
it's not worth it. Not right now. In
Yeah.
very Bengals fashion, they are doing this at the worst possible time. What puzzles me is why they wouldn't just make this concession, knowing they're dug in against Trey Hendrickson. All this is doing with Stewart is setting up a scenario where he's going to be bitter in 4 to 5 years about how they treated him coming in, thus making him more likely to leave later. First impressions last a lifetime, and the Bengals have been making the wrong first impression for a lifetime. I think Brett Coleman nailed it when he tweeted, haggling
Bengals
over
just keep-
offset language that will be worth at most 1.4% of the salary cap by the time it's even potentially relevant, and only if they actually cut him during his rookie deal is so wild to me. They are a team that's much better at creating contract problems than solving them. Championship teams don't worry about this shit. Can you
feel me?
imagine Howie Roseman or Brett Veach trying to fuck over their rookies for some hypothetical bullshit that will probably never come to fruition? No, this is why
Right.
poverty franchises stay poverty franchises. ESPN released their Football Power Index today,
Ridiculous.
and there's such a massive gap between expectations versus reality when it comes to the Bengals. Despite missing the playoffs for 2 straight seasons, ESPN has them at a 60% chance to make it this year. The 4th best odds in the AFC.
'Cause
They
they-
had
they
a
have such a
4% chance to win the
freaking
Super Bowl, which
powerhouse
are the
offense.
9th best odds in the entire
defense is just
NFL,
crumbling
according to
because they can't get the
ESPN.
goddamn
That feels
contract
cool
shit
to
right.
Bengals fans. It also
So they
feels
can
like
keep
they're
defensive
teetering
people
on
there.
complete
Like,
collapse and should have the
all
highest
bad.
odds
Look
to
at the
fire
logo.
their head coach by week 6. We need to give the Bengals their banner. Beat the Chiefs in the playoffs once, because I think they've been riding that wave for a little too long now. Finally, the Bills. What does being a little worried about the Bills even mean? A team with Josh Allen at quarterback alters expectations, right? And for me, my concern is that the things happening right now will make the Bills exactly the same as they have been the last several years. Very, very good, but not good enough to
Yeah.
win or even get to the Super Bowl. Josh Allen is like a friend's
'Cause
very,
they're
very,
bland.
very hot wife who also has a great sense of humor and personality. You know she's not yours, but if she asked you to ruin your marriage and your lifelong friendship, to be with her, you would. I'm a Broncos fan, but if Josh Allen proposed to me, I'd leave everything I've ever loved to be his number one.
He's a fun guy to banter with because, like, you never know how far
No,
he's
but
going
I
to
can
take
tell
it.
you, he's that good. He's that fun. And in general, I like what the Bills have done this
Burner.
offseason.
He's
Buffalo
a
is returning
dickhead.
84.2% of
This
their
is
roster in 2025. That's the 3rd most, and generally a good sign. They are bringing back linebacker Terrell Bernard, Greg Rousseau, Khalil Shakir, all on
the
4-year
Bengals
deals.
have a very
plus
good
DeMar
roster.
Hamlin,
They got a
Dave
very
Jackson,
good
and
play,
Ty
good
Johnson. Their
coach. The
approach
thing is
this
that they're
offseason has
bland.
been
You know what they're finna do.
very clear.
Unless Josh
Keep
Allen
our own
does some
guys,
wild shit.
which is why I
Which
don't love
you
the
can almost
James
guarantee
Cook
you on
holdout
because
right
their
now.
offensive
Really,
line is
what
not
this
that
is
good, but
does
everything else
James Cook
is.
get a contract extension that he
The
can
offensive
be
line is
happy with
slick,
before the
a little
season,
above
or does he
mid.
play out and face either the franchise tag the next year or become one of the top free agents for the entire NFL to then bid on the
Offensive line is
service?
slickly
I am
above
mildly
mid.
concerned, considering
Their
Cook accounted for
DBs
16
are
rushing
slickly
touchdowns
above
last
mid.
season.
So it's like
You can look at this 2 ways. From Cook's POV,
the
you
spots
say,
where you really
if
wanna
you're
have the
signing
biggest
all of the guys you
impact and
drafted to
wow factor,
extensions, why not me?
explosiveness,
I was great for
they
you
don't
last
have
year.
it.
And that's fair. If you're the Bills, you
But
say,
their
you're
running back
asking
is
for a
fine.
lot of money based off of
Josh Allen can
1
throw
year of insane
to any
touchdown
damn body,
production.
good or bad.
But if you
So
do
he's
it again,
good.
you know
His wide
we'll take
receivers
care
are
of
gonna
you.
be good
Cook
because he's
had
decent.
16 rushing TDs,
So,
a couple
I
receiving
mean,
touchdowns last
it's
year,
just they
but it's an
can't
outlier
stop
year for
nobody
his
from scoring.
production so far as a
And-
Bill, and he has another year remaining on his
Yeah.
rookie deal. And I never thought I'd say this, because I'm the #1 running backs should be paid supporter. But if
And they're
Cook wants
one-dimensional
$15
if
million
Josh
per
Allen
year
can't
like it's
get
been
a run game
suggested,
going for
he
himself,
hasn't
too.
proven to be worth that. Not consistently.
He has come out and said he wants the $16 million per year. I don't know if he's going to get it.
He's essentially asking to hit that Saquon and King Henry contract range based on his touchdown production. But both of those players had over 2,000 scrimmage yards last season. That's like me asking for Pat McAfee money and then pointing to the 2 videos I've had that outperform him. Cook actually got fewer carries last season because Ty Johnson and Ray Davis provided varying degrees of upside when they were on the field. Ugh. Did that all with a beer hair wiggling around in my mouth. That's how you know I'm a true fucking pro. Maybe I do deserve McAfee money.
Stupid as fuck.
What if you can create your own website by saying, this is what I want? With Wix.
It's stupid as fuck. Fucking Perna is an idiot.
Look, I think Josh Allen and Ray Davis can actually replace many of those 16 touchdowns Cook got fairly easily. I think Cook will eventually play for the Bills this year. It's not just that he lacks leverage, it's that the history of running backs missing actual time due to a holdout really never pan out. This will ultimately benefit the Bills. Either Cook returns and he is motivated more than ever to get paid the following season. He rushes for like 1,400 yards and adds another double-digit touchdown season to his resume. Or in his absence, Ray Davis and Ty Johnson prove they deserve even more carries. Cook needs to provide Jahmyr Gibbs-type production, in my opinion, to get what he wants monetarily speaking, and I hope he does, but he has yet to show he is a Tier 1 back. A very good Tier 2 back, yes. The biggest concern, though, is Joey Bosa is already hurt with the calf injury. Bosa is expected to be ready to go by training camp, but it is certainly an ominous sign when the guy you just paid, whose biggest problem is injuries
is already injured
on the first day where he has to do anything remotely physical. Bosa was brought in to put the Bills' pass rush over the top, and the only thing he's going to put over the top are the team's medical expenses. The Bills' medical staff will learn very quickly that bringing Damar Hamlin back to life was a far easier task than keeping Joey Bosa healthy enough to play every Sunday. The Bills signed Bosa to be a more reliable Von Miller. Unfortunately, they're getting a less talented, more injury-prone Von Miller who also does not have the balls to take PEDs so he can heal and stay on the fucking field. Thanks for watching. That's good sports. Please subscribe here on YouTube. YouTube is
like they're a good team and they're well, put together. But as we've been seeing, going up 20 in the past, great teams are putting this game away. None of these teams that are left are great teams. Anything can happen. I would say, I think they were a great team on paper. Like as far as like their system, as far as like being really good on defense, right? Like that's great about them. But when we talk about great team, we talking about like the Golden State Warriors, we talking about the Boston Celtics, like we talking about teams like that, right? Like that's been proven, that's lost, that's been back to that mountaintop. But I just always feel like the Knicks still have a chance, and they're 6-1 on the road. I have to keep going back to that. Like they're 6 on the road. They know how to win on the road. Yes, it may be ugly, and yes, they may have to go down 20 first to wake up, but they have a great chance.
Yeah,
of
that's
winning
what I was
the
about to
series
say, man.
still.
They ain't really got nobody on
I don't. I
Pacers.
actually think the
They can
Pacers
keep
are
up
going
with
to
some
win
real.
this series. Obviously, they
Oh, they got the
they were
Twins up
winning
there on the
the
show now.
entire
That's
game
crazy.
last game. They were winning the entire game until that fall off in the fourth
I don't
quarter when
think the
Cat had
Pacers-
to be miraculous and basically carry the team. I don't. But to piggyback off the great teams, I don't think there are any great teams left. I think that the numbers will show something different because of the era of basketball we in. OKC is a great defensive team, but when you look on the East, there is no way that guys are up 20 at home and losing. That teams are up 20. Great teams don't do that. So with that being said, even though I do like the Indiana Pacers, anybody could win this series.
Stephen A., do you believe the Pacers are going to blow this? And then I want to get your thoughts also on the sentiment that there's no great teams left.
There's no consistency with Indiana. You can guarantee Brunson gonna get a certain number, even if you're on a bad night. You can guarantee Cat gonna get a certain number, even on a bad night.
Credit for. They don't
when
have
you expect the fucking Halliburton to get 30 again, and then they hit you with an 8-ball, you can't do nothing with that. You can't do nothing with that. Not on an every night basis. Even if you do slick up and beat these niggas, you're not gonna be able to beat the next niggas.
Turner can play.
SGA
and Rick Carlisle is exceptionally well coached. And TJ McConnell, the little engine that
what's his name in that shit? Holcomb or Holmgren
from his days
in that
in
bitch,
Philadelphia. I
right?
love the kid.
Moving around and
He's got
shit,
a lot
not
of
getting
guns.
all
He's not
hurt
scared of
and
the moment.
outwinded
He
and shit
shows
all
up
crazy like
and
he's
he
been
gives you
doing.
what he can. So they have a plethora of players that show
they
up
good.
and get the
He
job
consistent.
done, and they can shoot the basketball. And so when you look at
They
it
got
from that
consistency
standpoint,
on their
you
team.
see
Dort is
how
consistent as fuck.
limited the Knicks have appeared to be because of Tibbs' refusal to utilize the
Pacers are not
rotation.
consistent.
And then you couple that with Rick
Knicks are
Carlisle
consistent
and
as
his
shit.
championship
They got 3-4
pedigree,
niggas on their team
knowing
that's
how
consistent.
to
You can
use an
guarantee
abundance
Josh
of
Hart gonna
parts,
get at
having
least a
11
double-double.
different guys that have averaged at least
Close
15
to
minutes a game this
low
past regular
double-double, but it's
season.
gonna be a
You
double-double.
just say to yourself, yo, they can beat the Knicks. But again,
you feel
if you're
me?
the Knicks,
12
because of how
and
tough
10
you can
or
be
something.
defensively, because of Jalen
Might even
Brunson,
fucking be fast
because
and
of
get
Carl
you some,
Anthony
get you a
Towns
bunch of
averaging
assists
over
instead
30
instead of the
against them during the
rebounds.
regular season on better than 50%
They ain't gonna
shooting.
get that
You
damn
do
12
look at the
points
Knicks
at
and say,
least somewhere around
you
there.
had them game one. You were up 17 with 6
9 and
minutes left,
fucking
up
13 or
14
something
with
in there.
2:50 left,
He might
up
blow
9
up on
with
you and get you a
52 seconds
21
left.
day.
You lost
Boy,
that game. It should be
he gonna get you a
2-1
double-double.
Knicks right now instead of
Know
the other
this.
way around. So I have no reason to believe that the Knicks can't win this series. I just know they got to play better
They need a
than
wing player.
than they have, particularly in fourth quarters of 2 of the 3 games.
Oh yeah, Bridges. That's what I was just about to say. They need a better wing player. I
Knicks
kept
in
thinking
7?
who was their wing player.
What's
It was him.
your prediction?
Fucking Bridges.
I hope you're right.
Indy in 6? All right, we'll leave it on that note. All right, coming up, the Knicks backups bailed.
Stick with the Game 3 starting
he
lineup
be
they went
doing
with
his
last
thing,
night. Is
but
that fact or fiction?
It's
fact. Get off to a good start, but also don't mess with a good thing. It
always
worked,
play-
even though
feel
maybe
like to
it
me,
didn't
he always
work
play like,
entirely. So you
Andrew
stick
Wiggins.
with it because you won the game.
Marcus, I didn't feel
Play
like you
softer than how than
Fiction.
his
I
size.
didn't love it at all.
Niggas
They
be
got off to a
bitching his
head
ass.
start. They were down 20 points in the second
So,
quarter. I don't think that is actually a good.
What do you
Niggas
think?
got this
Marcus?
shit
How
though, man.
should they
Niggas got
approach
this shit.
it?
This
I
was
agree
about to
with
be going
Marcus
game 6 tonight.
this one. I mean, scoring in that series has been at an
Knicks
all-time
got this
high.
shit.
The game
Knicks got it.
slowed down extremely a lot in the second quarter, in the first half, and the Knicks wasn't able to find
What is
their
it, 2-2?
foot scoring-wise.
Or
So I think it's
3-2?
fiction also.
And Jay Will, I mean, just in
3-2,
general, playing more
Pacers
guys
up,
as they
right?
did last night, the Knicks did, and part of that was because
It's
of
an
foul
automatic
trouble. They
game 7.
had no choice. Is that something you think we will see more of tomorrow night in Game 4?
But you know that shit gonna go down.
I think we have to. I mean, the fact that now this is their
gonna
third
be game
consecutive
7.
grueling series, these minutes add up. What I think we had a stat the other day in which Joe Bonbon was talking about the starters for the Knicks have played 700 more minutes than any other starters left in the playoffs. So at some point, you need to give them a spell.
Let's go to the next one. Markeith here. If someone were to say Jalen Brunson's defense is going to wind up costing the Knicks this series, is that fact or fiction?
That is a fiction. Obviously,
why was he so
was
deep in
foul
there
trouble a
doing
couple
what?
games. He just had to tone down on the foul.
God
I know
damn.
the
What is
playoffs are
Brunson
extremely physical,
doing?
but some basket he has to
Brunson
give
is
up
terrible
just to
on
be able to be on the
defense.
floor
God
with his team and
damn.
win that game.
It is worth pointing out, and
God
Alan, you know this team as
dang.
well as anybody. Jalen Brunson, no one is questioning his
Saying out here, I wasn't even looking at that. I'm just looking at him
But
getting
the-
ate
on
up.
the defensive
God
side of the floor,
damn.
clearly that has become an issue, and then
This
as he
nigga
has
is
encountered foul
shit.
trouble, it becomes a bigger issue.
But
because
shit, when you
he's
small,
then
that means
guarding
you're supposed to have the
against
active
committing
hands,
fouls.
man. This
Exactly.
nigga
He
out
has
here
to
just
soften
getting
up. But I'll
beat
tell you
up.
what, there was
He
the
ain't
one
even
call
putting his
that
hands up or
the
nothing.
Pacers
Like he's trying to take
No,
defensive
the Knicks challenge.
offensive
That should have been
fouls or
offensive
something. And
charge
he's just not getting
that
them.
they did not
So he looking stupid.
overturn, and that was his, I believe, his 5th foul.
He's
in
out there
that
getting his
moment.
ass
That
smacked
was
around,
ridiculous,
boy.
because
He
that
looking
should
real
not have been a
dumb.
foul against Brunson. He took he's great at taking charges, but he's got to be a lot smarter, obviously.
Jay Will, what do you think?
Yeah, you can't be trying to take charges all the time, bro. You got to get your hands active,
we
bro.
label him, or I guess we're tossing out
You
there
got to get
something
better
about
at
it, but
stealing.
he's not a
That's gonna
liability.
be like
I mean,
Achilles
the
heel in
strategy
this
of an
and this shit
opposing
because your ass
team
started
is you
tripping, bro.
attack their best player
The
to get him in foul trouble. right? So it's the volume of possessions that they're attacking
That
him.
was
Because
ugly.
if
I
you
ain't
can
watched
take
none
him
of the games
off
this
the
series. I
board,
watched most of
that
last
is a
series.
critical chess piece for
I
the
didn't
Knicks to
fucking
win
watch none of
games.
these
So
series
it's a
because
part
I
of the
just had a
strategy of
feeling
the
the Knicks
opposing
was gonna
team,
win.
but he's not a
Man,
liability on the court defensively.
All right, Jay, I'll come back to you for the last one here. If I were to say the Knicks are now going to come all the way back and win this series, is that fact or fiction?
That nigga out here getting bitched.
I think it's fiction. I
Let's go,
think
Cat.
Indiana, even in the
Yeah,
margins,
play that
with the way
fucking
they played, look, you know, look, they
Exactly.
got
I was about to say
two
the
on the
last
road
what,
in Madison
last
Square
game was
Garden. It's
32
going to take
something.
another Herculean performance from Jalen Brunson or Karl Anthony Towns to win
Let's
game
go,
4.
Cat.
Once again,
Let's go,
Indiana
Cat. With your little
is used to
flamey
losing game
ass.
3s. Lost game 3s in the first series against the Bucks.
Look at
Lost
him.
game
Look at him.
3
He
in the
trying to
second
make. He
series
trying to
against
make.
the Cavs. This is
He trying to
familiar
make.
territory for them.
Let's see what ESPN Bet thinks. At D14, we can see the Pacers are the favorites to win the series going into Game 4. They are minus 200. The Knicks are plus 170.
Step Kardashian.
Indy is a 2.5-point favorite at home in the game tomorrow night. And the reality is, each one of these three games could have
trying
gone
to do
the
all
other
these shots and
direction
wild
in
looking
the
stuff
final
so he can
minute.
make
These games are all
historic
decided
looking
in the
pictures
final
or
minute.
whatever.
Huge lead in Game 1.
Trying to-
Indiana comes all the way back and wins.
What is that shit?
Game 2 was
Oral
right there
shit.
to be had at the end. They got,
Hey.
Indiana's got a
Is that what
10-point
they
lead. The
call
Knicks
it?
cut it all the way to 1
Hey.
at the
Oral
end and
farmer.
can't get all the way back. And then last night, the Pacers have the huge lead,
But
and
nah,
they come.
man.
The Knicks come all the way
I
back
didn't
and win.
think
So
that the
each of
Pacers
these
had
games
enough
is 1 or 2
firepower to
possessions
keep up with the Knicks,
in
man.
either
But the
direction.
fact that they
Who-
just
right now, who
beating
do you
the
like?
fuck
We just
out of
put the
Jordan,
odds there. I
Jalen
know
Brunson.
you're not betting. Let me be
is
clear.
just-
You are not betting on anything. but to use the expression, which side do you have your money on?
It's
I like
baffling to
Indiana,
me.
right?
He
Because
should
it
be
seems
more
to me that the
heavy on
Knicks
his
are struggling
steel
to guard a
hand,
team
like
that
all the
plays
other
with the ball
small
moving as
point
much
guards
as
that
they do.
ever
They
been
have
on
the
the
home
planet.
court
Like
advantage.
they usually
If they take care of
be
this home
heavy
court
on the
advantage
steel.
tomorrow, they're going to win this
That's
series.
what I'm saying. Like, I
Let's
mean,
be
not
frank,
he
the
didn't
Knicks
have,
played
he could just have
great basketball
young
last night in
AI
that fourth quarter.
defense.
But you have to put
Just had
four
he looking
quarters
for the
together
steal
to
instead
be
of
able
looking
to
for
win
the
this series. And I
fucking.
think that Indiana will be the first team to be able to close the game out the way they're supposed to
He just
close
need
the
like
game
one
out, and they're going to
aspect.
win this series.
He just
Alan,
need
you were just
one
making an
little thing of
observation during
defense
the
at
break
all
that I
because
want
it
you
looked
to
like he
bring up
just ain't
about
getting
20-point
shit.
comebacks
Like,
in these playoffs. For anyone who is sitting and watching thinking, my goodness, it feels like there are far more comebacks from these big numbers than there usually are. Well, you're right. What are the numbers?
Yeah, as Tom Thibodeau says, no lead is safe. This is the 6th time
man,
now
I
in the
think that'll
playoffs
take away
this
from
year
the
a team has
scoring
made a
because
20-point
man,
comeback
that
to
nigga
win
Pat
the
Bev
game.
wasn't scoring like
In the
that.
past 4 playoffs, it's only
But if he
happened
could, he
5
could keep
times.
both.
So there's something weird going on in this year's playoffs, but it just shows
if
you
he
also
could,
teams are not waving the
for
white
sure.
flag. They're fighting all the way to the end.
So what is
Or at
it? I
least
mean,
Rondo
how do
did
we
or something.
explain that? What is it specifically about this season that would explain
Something.
something
One thing I
that
can
normal?
point out,
Nigga just
I
like
can
he
point
just
out
getting
is
ran
the age
over.
of these players. It's a lot of
Cat
younger players that's
fighting
in
for
the,
this
that's in the
shit.
finals,
Cat
that's in
want
the
this shit
Eastern
bad.
Conference
He don't
Finals, and
give
the
a
Western
fuck.
Conference Finals. They're led
Oh,
by
baby
younger
cat.
superstars. So
They know what he
at
got.
times in the game, I think that, you know,
Gay
it's
as
a
fuck.
big stage. Some guys' nerves are there. They're not really battle tested the way they're supposed to do, and they don't
Go
have
big cat.
super veterans. Obviously, you have veterans, but you don't have 30, 32-year-old guys that's actually playing in the games, that's
Been there,
able
done
to
that.
stabilize and to close the game at the end of the game.
And one would immediately say, well, there's the value of the three-point shot, right?
Yeah,
Is
they
that
ain't
no
got no
lead is safe,
closer.
you can come back. But we've had the three-point shot in the game for each of the years that you're talking
Neither
about.
team,
And
really.
while their teams are generally
Unless
shooting more of them
fucking-
now
what's
than
his
ever
name
before,
started going this ape
it's
shit.
not by that significant of a number. I like that explanation.
Yeah.
Maybe sometimes the
What's his
younger
name? They go
teams
8-9,
don't do
man.
as good a job of hanging on to those leads.
Right, and we have to do a better job of identifying there are no great
Halliburton.
teams right now. There are no great
No super
teams.
teams.
OKC is not a great team?
No, they're not a great team. They had a great offseason, and the reason, I mean, a great regular season, and the reason why I'm saying this is because if you look at the past landscape of basketball, right, we have never seen 40-point blowouts in the Western or the Eastern Conference. Like, we've never seen these.
There hasn't been
things
one good
happen.
game in that series yet.
It hasn't. So that's why I give Minnesota a chance. That's why I give New York a chance, because these aren't great teams. These aren't the Warriors we're talking about that if it's up 3-1, you're closing this out. These aren't those teams that we're accustomed to seeing, right? So you have to give these guys a chance. Being up, like the Knicks came back 20 twice.
Yeah.
And like three
Right.
times.
Three
actually.
times now.
Three
In these
times
playoffs,
actually
yeah.
now. And it's like,
On the road.
exactly. 6-1 on the road.
That's the
even
one.
unheard of. 6-1 on the road, and you have to give them that credit. credit because now if they get tomorrow, we're having a different conversation, right? Like
Right.
they're just
It's
aren't
momentum
teams
swing.
that can close out right now. So everything's up in the air.
It's the momentum swing,
Yeah.
and we're seeing it in these games. Is the momentum
But-
swing of it,
but
and I think it's
I
look at the
can't tell
3-point
which
shot you mentioned.
one this is,
5 for
but
25, the
he's
Pacers
speaking
were.
the
They
truth. He
could
said
not
none of these
make it.
teams
Some
are
of them
really
were
great.
open
Nobody
looks,
has a
good looks.
closer.
They just
Nobody
weren't
can
making
close
them.
out
Knicks are
nothing.
trying to take the
That's
three-point
why
line
the
away,
Knicks
and that
came back
adjustment you saw late in the
20.
game.
Jay Will, Yeah, Jay,
3 different times just in this
I
damn
would just
in
caution
this
us for
playoff
1
run.
second, and I get, Keith, what you're talking about as
On the road at that.
name recognition of obviously
On
KD
closing
and
games,
Steph and
on closeout
Draymond and
games,
Clay
like
and the way all these guys play back in
nobody
the day.
could,
But I mean,
nobody really great. And that's the
number-wise,
reason why
from a
that shit's
defensive
swinging so hard
perspective,
each way. He said everybody
OKC
has a
is a great
chance. You
team
can't
now.
really
Their numbers are
predict none of
staggering. I
this
mean,
stuff.
they're
You can just
blowing
watch it
out
and hope
NBA
for the
records
best.
on certain things, from turnover margins to the way they play. So
That's
just
real.
stylistically, maybe they're coming into their own because they're a younger team. They may not have the same recognition of some of the star-studded teams we had before, but number-wise, they are a great team.
Yeah, they were a great team. And to you, they were a great team in the regular season. They have looked vulnerable, at least to some degree, in the playoffs. Denver took them 7, and then what happened on Saturday night was just a complete no-show. So we'll see if they're able to sort of punch back tonight in Game 4. Very quickly, if you're a Knicks fan, you're saying, how do I get Karl Anthony Towns to play like that again tomorrow night, maybe starting earlier than the fourth quarter? What's the answer?
We just mimicked what we did last night. You have to get the guy the ball. He has to have 20-plus shot attempts this next game because, right, if you win this game in Indiana, anything is possible.
Get him the ball early? I mean, does that become a factor for the Knicks tomorrow night to try and make sure he's involved early in this game?
I think he's always involved, but I also think it's a dynamic of having space on the floor where he can drive from different angles, being able to post on the wing and being able to drive from the top of the key. I do think Indiana might tweak a little bit and not keep those drive lanes as wide open, and maybe put Siakam, the smaller guy, on Cat, and maybe
which we've seen
take away from the
other teams do it.
Exactly.
You know what else you need? Him going to the basket with authority, not trying to draw a foul, just trying to finish.
Yeah, we'll see. He did that well in the fourth quarter last night. We'll get Game 4.
I don't even know what that means, big dog. I think that's the end of that segment. It just goes straight to somebody knitting some shit. That's crazy. Yeah, I need to go see him. I need to go see one of his shows. I ain't even gonna flex, man. That might actually go hard. Because I know Travis Scott concerts go crazy.
A record collection of draft picks and outstanding rookie point guard Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Danilo Gallinari for Paul George.
Shai Gilgeous-Alexander has been named the 2024-25 MVP.
Picture this. It's July 5th, 2019. You wake up, grab your phone, and see the most shocking trade in NBA history flash across your screen. A trade so lopsided, so devastating, that 6 years later, we're still trying to figure out how
What, he got a new,
I'm
does he
talking
have a
about
newer
Paul
album
George
out
being
with
traded
all
to
he
the Los
perform out
Angeles
there?
Clippers. And by the
That
end
sound
of
like
this
that was a
video, you'll
dope-ass
understand
show.
why this might be the most catastrophic trade decision in the history of professional sports. But here's what's crazy. At the time, most people thought the Los Angeles Clippers won. ESPN analysts called it a masterpiece. Sports Illustrated said it was genius. Even Thunder fans were divided on whether they got enough back. They had no idea what was coming. See, this isn't just a story about one bad trade. This is about how a single decision created a butterfly effect that's still destroying one franchise while building a dynasty for another. We're talking about a trade that gave one team 38 draft picks, a trade that turned a 20-year-old bench player into the 2025 NBA MVP, a trade that started a chain reaction of deals that left one of the most expensive rosters in NBA history with zero, and I mean zero, first.
Hear all that, man.
We're going to find out what these Lions are made of.
I'd put their first 10 games up there with anybody. I think their schedule is scary, Mike.
They got some outdoor open-air games this year where weather could be a factor. And we know what can happen with their quarterback when weather is a factor.
You're no longer the hunter. You're the hunted. You're now IBM. You're not a startup company. Dan Campbell can no longer be a pro wrestler living up to the gimmick.
At the start of 2025, the Detroit Lions were on top of the world. #1 seed in the NFC, an MVP caliber offense, and a fan base finally daring to dream. That dream unraveled fast. 2 coordinators gone, a playoff meltdown, and now uncertainty is creeping in. This is what they aren't telling you about the Detroit Lions. Now, we have to start with the elephant in the room, which is the loss of both of their coordinators on both sides of the ball this past offseason. Under Ben Johnson, the Lions had the league's most potent scoring offense and second best by yardage, putting up some electrifying highlights on tape for all to see. They had rejuvenated Jared Goff's career, turning young talents such as Jahmyr Gibbs, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jamison Williams.
Oh, all these ads, man! I got to get premium soon.
Williams and Sam Laporta into instant sensations. All while the staunch O-line and the ever-reliable David Montgomery ground defenses to a pulp. Johnson's creativity with his one-of-a-kind footballing mind unlocked this unit's hidden potential, quickly turning the Lions into America's team over the course of the past few seasons. Ben Johnson's synergy with this group of players produced the highest scoring offense in franchise history and captivated the nation with its exploits week in and week out. His departure will be a huge blow, no doubt, as he was rightfully one of the most sought-after head coaching candidates available this past offseason. His departure
guess where you're from? I don't know. Indiana.
He was snapped up by the division rival Chicago Bears, which has left a gaping hole in the Detroit Lions coaching staff headed into 2025. The size of that hole was then doubled upon the departure of defensive coordinator Aaron Glenn to the New York Jets, and while Glenn has manned his post admirably since 2021, it was only in the past year that finally saw their defense playing at full tilt until injuries derailed the season.
Oh, appreciate it,
of course, Aiden Hutchinson, who suffered a gruesome leg break in Week 6 against Dallas. Glenn's unit was able to rally around this moment and helped.
I know Muhammad's from all over the place, man.
But the injury bug finally caught up with the rest of the defense, as Alex Anzalone, one of the best defensive leaders on this team, was on the IR by Week 11, which combined with other late season injuries such as Elam McNeil and Carlton Davis III significantly weakened the defense at the tail end of the season.
New York.
The Lions were made to pay for their absence in the divisional round against Washington, where a 45-31 defeat brought Detroit's season to what many thought was a premature end. Perhaps, who knows? Truthfully,
Saudi Arabia. Dope.
Strength, and I know Anzalone, I think, was still playing with a broken hand at that point too. He had come back, I think. Is that who knows if they were up?
Yeah, that's real dope. I ain't gonna flex, man.
Might have actually been.
Saudi Arabia got that bread.
It doesn't really matter. Dan Campbell is still expected to try and replicate what he did last year in 2025, despite the turnover in his coaching staff. Like with Aaron Glenn,
I'll be out there double taped up.
For himself in his playing days, Detroit replaced him with a man who was already in the building. Kelvin Shepard was promoted from linebackers coach to defensive coordinator ahead of this season. Across an 8-year playing career, Shepard spent time with the Bills, Colts, Dolphins, Giants, and Lions. And in 2021, just 3 years after his retirement, he was hired as the outside linebacker coach in Detroit, rapidly rising through the ranks thanks to his leadership. Even if we go back to the 2022 season,
I was talking about your money
did say that he saw great coaching potential in Shepard,
That's what I was
which
talking
made the decision to hire him that
I'm
much
not no gang
easier
member.
upon the departure of Aaron Glenn. And while we haven't seen Shepard's defense play a single snap yet, he's told the website that he
said you love the thug life. Yeah, it's cool to love it, but when you're living it, man, it comes with a whole lot of extra stuff on the side. I ain't got time. I'm old. I ain't dealing with all that extra stuff on the side.
From Denver, where he served as a passing coordinator in 2020.
Possibility of jail, possibility of kicking in my door, all that. Cool.
2022 season, working directly under Ben Johnson and Dan Campbell. He not only knows the team culture, but brings over 20 years of coaching experience to the table as well. And although his last stint as an offensive coordinator was far from stellar,
easy money, man, but hard life.
To a career year in New York,
quick life,
17 season,
fast life.
Track record is mostly positive otherwise. He
cool.
worked miracles with Bo Nix in Denver last season, while also helping.
That's for the young folks.
Debut season in New Orleans, a memorable one.
They got it though.
Gordon's definitely not going to be trying to reinvent the wheel, especially after all. Johnson did have a good thing going. Campbell's reiterated that the offense runs through Jared Goff, who will likely be the key if the Lions are to enjoy the same
Saudi Arabia
success they saw in 2024.
That's crazy.
Don't get me wrong. Definitely, while there is a lot to be excited,
what kind of stuff that they do out there
and Morton coming in as both
is in Saudi Arabian games.
There's also just a lot of unknowns about when it comes to their abilities as both an offensive and defensive coordinator, what they can call and what they know just about the Lions schemes. While Dan Campbell provides stability in the head coaching role as these
his voice is starting to
New McCrispy strip is here. Dip approved by
oh, that's what's up.
Barbecue, honey mustard, Sprite.
I thought that shit was like hella illegal out there.
Ranch, more ranch, and creamy chili McCrispy strip dip.
I thought that shit was like hella illegal. Y'all don't get like sent hard up the road for that.
So many teams have added
Yeah. Yeah, Hashish. Oh. Yeah, about to say that's heavily illegal out there, man. It's tough. Can't be telling these folks all your business like that, man. I mean, be cool and all, but you know, we don't know who watching me. I don't know who watching me. Let's go, Aja Wilson. She's just out here tearing it up. It's the only time that women's basketball looks like it's fun. I'm watching one with her, Angel Reese sometimes, and there's no alcohol too. Damn. So I just have to be out there looking crazy if I go out that way, man. I'm talking about looking crazy, but I make my own. And you don't get in trouble for that? That's crazy, bro. I mean, yeah, I'm pretty sure you can make it. It ain't that hard to make it. Find a YouTube video, just get some fruits and some potatoes and shit and make some shit. Oh, word. Yeah, I like watching basketball. I've never been a basketball player, but should always look cool. I mean, I could play. I could probably do somebody up, but I ain't finna be no great one. Oh, yeah. If nobody knows it, I mean, you can do what you do, man. I feel that. Oh, let's go. Nasty ass pass. Good defense, too. Women's basketball, this shit is crazy looking. I don't know if I should be like turned on or like impressed by the skill. Ugh, that was a nasty three. Oh, man. Oh, yeah, you having a good time out there. Yeah, he a lawyer. I respect it, man. I respect it. Muhammad is out here having a time of his life. You know the rules and how to play it, man. I respect it, man. That's how you're supposed to do it. Because, man, out here in America, that's all you really need is knowing how the rules work. As long as you know how the rules work, man, you'll be all right. Know the loopholes and what you need to worry about. I mean, for the most part. But a lot of stuff here legal is not illegal in there, but is other places. So it's wild. America just feel like the Wild West sometimes. We just feel like I'm lawless a lot of times until like police is like on you for doing something.
It was just a couple possession games down the stretch. And one for A'ja Wilson. The Aces are looking forward specifically from Jackie Young, Chelsea Gray, and A'ja Wilson. Yep. And they didn't give up on that play.
Yeah, it's pretty bad, man. It's pretty bad. It's pretty tough, man. It's pretty tough out here, man. It's not the best. Not the best at all, man. Not like it used to be.
Hi, I'm Colin Coward.
Spreading ourselves thin, man. Yeah, the 90s it was tough, man. Even in the early 2000s, it was a good time. It was a good time of being American. Right now, it's just so much uncertainty in everything. And I'm just gonna be honest, man. It's no political nothing. I ain't got no political mumbo jumbo out here. But like, I'm not political at all. So, but America is not what it was in the 90s and the early 2000s. It is, everybody's hoping and praying that something's going to change, and it doesn't really change. Free speech is fucked. Suppression is prevalent in all of our news. We don't know shit besides what we find out on our own. We thinking everywhere else is a third world country when technically they're all about the same as us, besides places that are actually third world countries. And we don't know about this shit. We always think that our shit looks better than everybody else's, even though we just not even educated enough to know any different. Like, hey, I'm just gonna be honest, man. There's no political shit. I love where I live, but just going to other places and seeing other stuff and seeing everybody just as competitive, just as technologically advanced, man, it's just like, okay, so we just getting fed some bullshit. Just being honest. We got hella entertainment though. That's what the issue is. We're stupid because of all of this great entertainment. We're content central. But you know, that's what we're here for. This is what America has turned itself into, content. media,
it should be so fast,
entertainment and shit.
that he can't even get into the whole thing. And so we were getting a lot of Oregon last night. And if you have
Man, I love America. I love America. But this is what it is now. This is what it is. And the sad part is that it's creeping out into all the other tendrils of the world.
Right? I mean, that's not going to happen. 20 turnovers.
Exactly. Well, like, don't get me wrong. I've jerked plenty of times to that. But, like, no, you know, but shit. It's weird, man. I'm off porn now, you know what I'm saying? So I can talk shit.
There you go. Yeah. Okay, that's another thing I listened to on the broadcast. I heard
This
Landry
shit crazy.
cheers from the Garden faithful. Do you know what has to happen for there to be Landry Shamet cheers?
Down 20?
That's what has to happen. And so we are seeing him go deeper into his rotation. We're seeing him pick up Halliburton, as you said. He's getting a little tweaky and tickery there, which is
Can't wait, man. I'm actually in the process of building a setup kind of like how they got over here. And this shit's gonna be awesome. So give me like about 2 years, and this shit's gonna be lit as fuck. We finna have whole sit-down couch panelists, conversations and everything like that. We even gonna be able to pull up live video or live chat and all of that shit. We working on that shit right now.
Thibodeau made so many changes. I wonder if he heard
And we'll be able to talk about more in-depth stuff. Because right now we're just kind of throwing up a video and we're talking through it and shit like that. But I want to be able to have the conversations in the studio at that time. We running that shit down. You know what I mean?
So what about Brunson then? Because he took.
Yeah, do your thing, man.
Players hear it a lot more. You're absolutely right. And look, the thing about
Hey, you can do lurk if you
looking not dicey, but like rougher than
need
expected
to
in that Pistons series.
turn it down, still have the video up or whatever like that. Have a good time, though. Do your thing.
And they lose in the first round. Tom could lose his job.
Yeah.
And we are way.
Yeah, Thibodeau is on the hot seat right now.
Regardless of the outcome of Saturday night's game, Tom Thibodeau will be fine, and he will be the coach of the New York Knicks.
All right, I want to play some sound here from Pascal
Yeah, in the hot
Siakam
seat.
last night.
All right, man. Appreciate you for stopping through, though, Muhammad. Appreciate you.
They played harder than us, I think. I think they played harder than us. You know, loose balls, like rebounds, like all that.
How is that possible?
What do you mean?
How is it possible to not fight harder?
What are you talking about? They played harder than us. It's okay. We
They played harder than us.
What's your point? I don't get it.
My point is, you're saying you guys got outfought, and I'm saying
that happens in the game, though. That's basketball. You good? You good, bro?
You good?
You looking for something? I know. But damn. No. But I'm telling you though. I told you. What else you want me to tell you?
Why won't you tell me how? That's all I'm asking.
Well, what about you tell me? So go ahead. Who's this guy? Who's this guy?
All right. First of all, Rachel, I love that. I know the reporter in question, Greg Doyle. I don't want to blast the guy. Whatever, irrelevant. I do wonder, though, is this the first sign that maybe pressure is getting to the Pacers? Because Siakam didn't look
Lord.
that, like,
Not pressure getting to the.
he was pushing back, and
Not
I don't know
pressure.
if Siakam has showed anything like that in the press
They said it's pressure.
season. So I
They
wonder
feeling
if
pressure.
pressure's maybe getting to
Not
them,
the
or is it kind of
Pacers.
reaching here?
Well, I liked what he said when he said, "What do you mean? We did play hard.
Yeah.
They just played harder." I like that part because, like, to pretend that these are elite level athletes, to pretend that anyone out there in the Eastern Conference Finals isn't trying, is such a, and I'm not saying that's what Greg said, but I mean, it's just such a crazy sort of notion I hear fans say sometimes. Of course they were trying. It just was not their night.
Yeah.
I do think the pressure is now on them, though, whether it started in the post-game press
Right.
conference or whether it extends to Saturday night. I know that they played a Game 7 in Madison Square Garden last year. I know that. I remember that.
Yeah.
However, that game was not a pressured game because the Knicks were so battered and bruised. They were running OG Anunoby out there practically at like a walker under the basket. Like everybody was hurt. You knew the Pacers were winning that game.
No wheeling OG and Anunoby out there.
Sits at home with a game seven in
Damn.
the Garden looming and teams relatively at full strength. That's the pressure.
Yeah.
And I think this is where we will see where the rubber meets the road with these teams.
Yeah.
100%. All right, we're gonna come back.
I think the
from
Pacers
break.
might have it out for
We're
that.
gonna tell her
They
why
might not
I
have
think
it.
the Knicks winning Game 6.
Pacers might not have it,
Don't know
man.
if they got a better chance to win.
I think the Pacers might be done for, man. At least for this, at least for this round popping up, man. I don't know. I don't know. At least for this round, I feel like they got it. They got their card is about to get pulled on that shit. Just gonna be real. I feel like that shit's gonna be a little tough sledding for their ass. Tough sledding for their ass. At least that's what I think. I don't know. Could be wrong. Could be wrong. Could be wrong. Could be wrong. Let's see what they're talking about over here at Pat McAfee. Oh.
With Stephon Diggs in New England, my sources are telling me that the things that are seen in videos were Pop Rocks. They were actually sealed because there were kids on there looking for Pop Rocks. That's also why he's being referred to as Daddy in said video. I'm just curious if
you don't want to mix Pop Rocks with pop here.
No, you don't want to mix it with pop. No, people don't even want to know what happens when Pop Rocks go in the ocean. It is not just bad for the environment.
Can't even imagine.
It's bad for fish, plaque, algae. They all die.
I didn't even think about the plaque.
It's terrible. Yeah. And that's in the water. And that's why Stephon Diggs kind of caring for, not just the kids on his
Got to get to the...
Is Stephon Diggs going to get in trouble at all? Is there any situations looming from the league or from the Patriots in general? And what Mike Vrabel said about it, does that make you think there'll be any team discipline as well?
Yeah. I mean, my thought from Vrabel is that just listen to him. He's maybe not like the most thrilled of all time, especially when you have a big free agent signed, still coming back from an injury, partying on a boat with, I think, Cardi B, right? Which, I mean, could be anyone,
his
but
girlfriend,
not that that's
Cardi
a bad
B
thing.
To you, Rap Sheet.
But there was a lot of seemed to be several girlfriends. I don't know that situation. I'm just saying there seemed to be a lot of them. Who he was very close with. I mean, in physical proximity with.
Whatever. He was on boat. There was things that, I mean, why are we see? We should not be seeing this. Like, as somebody who is,
he said we should not be.
Stephon's been on the show before.
Should not be seeing it.
How good of a football player he is. It's like, hey, come on. That's not.
Well,
he's living his life.
Discord.
But the whole thing is like, he knew what the reaction was going to be, right? Yeah. The reaction has been exactly what we thought it would be, and
that's what I don't understand. Is like, look, I don't know what was in the pink whatever
Pop Rock,
and we'll probably.
Just told
Pop Rocks, right?
Watermelon Pop Rocks.
I thought it was the what's the thing? It's got the 4 flavors of powder with the milk thing that you dip in.
Oh, Fun Dips.
Fun Dip, yeah.
That's what I thought.
It wasn't Fun Dip.
That's white powder, or excuse me, purple powder.
Pink powder, bro.
Louise.
They're not coming for me, by the way.
Anyways, that whole thing, it's just like you see it, and it's like, okay, he's living his life, but also knew this was going to be.
No, but also, like, you can't, like, how does the video get out? No one said to anyone, like, hey, like, this guy's part of the Patriots, like, maybe don't post this on social media. Like, I think it's the, like, stupidity part of it, which is just as bad as the whatever.
Said it was lit.
Yeah, he was going dummy out there.
He said he was going dummy out there.
I've never done
Mad dummy on the yacht.
Looks like it's a good time. I think I get seasick though. I don't. Do they do a lot of this when they're on there?
Oh yeah, a lot of dancing, jumping up and down. Yeah, depends on if the stabilizers are working or
They dance like that?
Yeah.
No, that's not dancing. That's
the
boat.
waves.
Yeah. I'm riding a wave, brother.
Oh, got it.
I'm riding the wave, brother.
Probably dance like that too. That's it.
What if Rapshi was on that boat? How awesome would that be? And you were up there with him. Yeah.
Floaties on.
I mean, my wife wouldn't have been that happy if we're just being honest.
Well, she could be with.
I would have had some.
How deep is this?
If she was on the boat with me.
Lit.
Whatever that was, the Fun Dip or whatever. I have no idea.
Rocks.
Well, you don't have to do it. You don't have to do it.
That would have been fun. I like a good boat.
It's just we're in that time now, I guess, after OTAs where there's going to be a lot of freedom and opportunity for people. Stephon Diggs has put a lot of great tape out there as a football player. I assume the Patriots are excited for him to get on the field. But all this other stuff, you got New England fans going like, what are you talking about?
Those are Pop Rocks, not doing anything.
How do we know they weren't shooting a video?
Yeah, could be shooting a movie.
Maybe he's a movie star. We don't even know.
This could be an opportunity.
Yeah, exactly.
This the next Cardi B video. Maybe she's got an album dropping that we don't even know about.
Bingo.
Maybe. I'm sure somebody on the internet knows, but
Good
whatever
look,
the case, Stephon Diggs in New England Patriots, we hope the relationship works.
It's gonna be glorious.
Drake May obviously will do well with the Stephon Diggs as wide receiver. Vrabel is going to win. That's what Vrabel always does.
Man, if y'all ain't in my Discord yet, man, I got some folks up in here that's already turning my shit up, man. I fuck with y'all, man. Appreciate y'all out there. We're not gonna watch no Megan Thee Stallion news. I'm not feeling that no more. It is what it is on that really get put up somewhere or something. Yeah, hell yeah, man. Appreciate you, GOAT. Good luck. And I just got access to my thing again, man. I did the fucking verify the email and that shit didn't work the first time, and then I emailed them and I haven't looked at it again. Not even gonna flex. I haven't looked at it since, so now my shit working again. So hey, we in that bit, we lit. We in that bit, we lit. We in that bit, we lit. That bit, we lit. Hey. Yeah, man, we gotta run that shit up, man. I'm gonna have to post that into the regular deal too, man. That was dope. Shit, matter of fact, can I put that on the regular screen? I wonder. Probably gonna be worth it. Feel kind of naked. My beard is all low. Shirt keep leaning one way or another. Need to get a new polo shirt. What's leaning? Shirt leaning like a man. Keep going to the left hard too. Way over here and shit. My shit caddy corner to the caddy wumpus to the food. You feel me? Collar got me looking crazy. Like I got to keep repositioning it because it's it's wide. Yeah. Like it's supposed to be a wide collar, but it's not supposed to be like that, dude. Like it's supposed to be a deep swoop collar, but it's not supposed to be like that, my guy. It's supposed to be all leany hangy. Uh-oh. We're getting close. New whip. Yeah. Why is he standing up with a... This is a that's a fake background. That's a fake background. Okay. My mind understands it again now.
To the conference finals.
Okay, this is legit news stuff.
At any point. Yes, they played the Knicks in a game 7 last year, but by the end of the first quarter of that game, the Knicks had 4 starters out of the game. It was not exactly a competitive situation. On the other hand, tomorrow night, the Pacers are going to be at home with a chance to close out this series, to go to the NBA Finals for the first time in 25 years. It's the biggest moment in franchise history this century. It's the biggest moment of Tyrese Halliburton's career. And as we saw last night, Pacers did not look ready to handle the moment being at Madison Square Garden. Obviously, it's just one game. You can look at Knicks Celtics Game 5 as an example of the home team being proud and not wanting to go home. We know what happened.
That's a fake background. It just looks crazy as fuck because his lighting is way different.
Or can the Knicks dictate that tempo?
And then look, he has a Photoshop picture in the background of himself standing in front of something.
Energy for a closeout series.
It's in a frame.
Rather, that's not something we saw from Indiana here in this last game. Let's see if we see
the books are bigger than him
for this all-important Game 6. Tim Bontemps, thank you so much.
I mean, I brashed against the wall.
Like, is this supposed to be some kind of parody or something?
Played better than him. I was just thinking I need to help my team win.
32 points, 5 assists.
My mindset every time I'm on the court, just help my team
10th
win.
game this postseason with 30 points, 5 assists. Jesus Christ.
With the series, we haven't been able to
close out games the way we wanted to. We haven't been able to show how special we are. We've had moments of brilliance, but we haven't had games of brilliance. And I think tonight was a good testament to when we're locked in playing for 48 minutes. We could show the world how special we really are.
Yeah.
Well, they did just
If
that.
you could do
Brunson
that
became
shit.
the third different player with 30 points and 5 assists in at least 10 games of a postseason before the NBA Finals. He joins Michael Jordan, who did this in '89 and '90, and then the potential Finals counterpart in SGA this season. And Brian, you've said over and over this series that this is closer than 3-1. This is much, much closer than that. What did last night show you?
It showed me that there is a pathway for the Knicks to beat the Pacers. They have it, and they did it in a couple of different
See, his
ways.
background don't look crazy.
Number one,
'cause his lighting
in the
is good.
previous 4 games of this series, the Pacers had committed 5 fewer turnovers per game. That's 5 extra possessions the Pacers would have against the Knicks. Well, in this game, the Knicks took care of the ball a lot better, and they put pressure on the Pacers. And in this game, it was the Knicks who had 5 fewer turnovers. That's a 10-turnover swing right there. Figure out how to make up for your issues. How about 10 possessions in your favor? Secondly, Jalen Brunson was so much better defensively in this game.
Let's go.
He's never
Let's
going
go.
to be a defensive stopper, but he was absolutely not fighting in Game 4. He was extremely active defensively, going over screens. This is the number that says it all. 68% the Pacers shot against him as a primary defender in games 1 through 4. Look at that. They went at him 40 times in those games. Yesterday, they went at him 14 times. Still a big part of their offense. Only 3 of 14, 21%. That's huge. You take those 2 things away, and then in the first 4 games, Towns and Brunson, your 2 all-NBA players, they were minus 24 on the court together. That can't happen in this game, plus 23. They made up for it by being great together at the offensive end.
Just yesterday, Perk was jumping off the porch. She said, "No, what? No, I'm good on the New York Knicks." Kendrick, are you still there after watching this performance?
Kendrick Perkins about to say some dumb shit. He about to say some dumbass shit. I can already smell it. I can smell it. He about to say some dumbass shit.
I had every right to jump off the porch. I was stressed.
You stressed out my ass.
Stop behind the New York Knicks and my pick of them winning the series. And Wendy's right. Like, Big Body Brunson did his thing. But when it comes down to it, I'm looking at the matchup between Karl Anthony Towns and Miles Turner. Right? Like, that's been the biggest key in my point in this series. And when you look at Karl Anthony Towns, every time he dominates Miles Turner, the Knicks get a win in good fashion. And when you look at last night, 24 and 13, his mind was there. Aggressive, not shooting 3-point shots, going down to that low block and playing daddy ball, playing in the dunker spot, setting screens, attacking off the dribble. Miles Turner had 5 points. 5 points. He is the best shot blocker in the postseason, leading the postseason in block shots, and Cat completely destroyed him.
We've talked about where's the Knicks defense at? How did they do it?
You guys, it's been a minute since I've been able to do this. Get up and go to the big board. So I'm going to celebrate it. I'm going to dance. I'm going to boogie on down here because for one night, the Knicks, they turned back the clock to a style that we were once very familiar with.
And she made sure she backpedaled the whole way. She didn't want nobody to see that fatty back there.
Adjustments that the orange and blue made. They won the
Yeah, look at that S curve back. Man,
he meets the point of attack and wins it. He's aggressive, 2 feet outside, forces a drive, and right here, it's a really great contest, which Cat got the defensive rebound. He had 11 on the night, 11 defensive rebounds, 13 overall. Now, this play got me hyped because this is what you need if you're going to try to continue to extend the series. Everyone's loaded up. They actually right here were picking their poison, face guarding Halliburton. And what happens here? Before they left their defenders on islands, instead OG comes over. There's vision here, knowing that the shot clock, I'm going to show you guys right here, turns to 2.5. So he comes off of Halliburton to go get this late contest. This was beautiful defense from their star players, but also they were moving on a string. Now, how stellar was this night defensively, though, for New York?
That was a good move, though. I ain't gonna lie.
Their worst offensive performance.
Slid that shit smooth out.
94 points on 40% shooting. Again, that is the worst. Now, I feel for Knicks fans. They know how to play with your emotions, this squad. But yesterday, somebody stood on business and saw this coming.
All right, who do you have in this one?
The Knicks.
Oh, and he said it with his chest. A little family feud here. Pops, anything you wanna impart on your son about? I mean, you picked the Pacers and he's picking New York.
Feel sorry for his loss. What about Big Body Bronson?
Big Body Bronson.
Maybe we need young Carter on the show. Maybe we need young Carter back. Perk had to say, you know what? He had to take this block off for the rest of the block because his son.
He didn't want to smoke. Oh, never mind.
But what had happened was.
Hey, look, listen. Maybe Carter is a better analyst than his dad. You know what I mean?
That's how
we might need to rock with him a little bit
Generational excellence here.
No, I'm just saying.
All right, let's get to the other side of all
He
this.
got more loyalty, I'll tell you that much.
Let's take a listen to Tyrese Halliburton.
I understand they're going to come out and play hard. Increase the pressure, do whatever they got to do.
Halliburton like a young version of my homie Ian.
They were more aggressive from the jump. They brought the fight to us, and I just didn't think we brought it enough to. I think we finished the quarter okay, but we just didn't bring the fight.
I don't think there's any need to panic by any means. We get another game to go back at home and attack these guys and get better. So I look forward to Game 6, and we're prepared. We'll be prepared.
All right, Brian. So Tyrese Halliburton, he really struggled in this one. What do you make of his performance?
Oh yeah, y'all, I figured it out, man.
Well, one of the things
Once we hit 100 followers and or 5 subs, we gonna build a watch together on stream. Cool shit, like a fly ass joint.
Including a game in the last
That's what we gonna do. I just figured that shit out, y'all, and then we might
in the one game that they lost.
give it away.
He has these moments where his offense sort of goes out.
Yeah. So we want to get a fly ass watch, man. Let's promote this joint, man. Let's get us to 100 followers and maybe 5 subs. I don't really care about the subs too much. Just get the followers going, man. And we're gonna build a watch on stream, and then we'll give it away. I build watches in my spare time. Whenever I got spare time. Sometimes I get bored of actually just being on stream watching videos or playing games. So we'll do a watch sometime soon and show you I ain't bullshitting, but get one and we're gonna get one and give it away or something like that. I don't know.
We used up
Figure
a
it
lot
out.
of energy in this game, picking him up in the backcourt, making him work for everything.
Yeah, and just feeding off of that, I do think that was the big adjustment on the defensive end. We say when you're one of the best passers in the game, you have to disrupt that vision. You have to disrupt that flow.
Right.
And you saw them time and time again. They were up. They were not waiting to half court. It was on the free throw line when everyone was ready to guard Tyrese Halliburton. And it was everyone. Like, I would say that Brunson, he was physical. It almost is like when you are trying to be successful at this level, you have to forget what you look like. You have to forget the cool. You just have to go with hustle and heart. They were not perfect, but they were persistent on each and every defensive possession.
Yeah.
And it was literally once the rebound was shifted, they
Nice.
had the mindset to lock in, and they'll have to do that again and again.
Yeah, but basically, this is the first time, Brian, that the Pacers, they have pressure on them now. This series now
chest or
shifts back to
something. Shit was
Indianapolis.
beautiful.
They want to close this out in 6. They
They
do not want to
got-
go back to the Garden here for Game 7. How do
They
you
got to
see
go
them
back to the
handling
Game
that?
7. No.
Yeah, I'll go back
No,
to Rick
you'll
Carlisle said
understand.
after they got up on the Cavs. He said
You
we're not going to
understand.
be favored in any games. And he's been right for the
But
most part.
Halliburton,
They've been the underdogs in the
8
last 2
points,
series.
2
They've been
for
underdogs in
2
most
for
of the
7,
games in this series.
6 assists.
But not tomorrow night, Malika. They're
Come
favored
on.
tomorrow night. And this is a team that's won 4 series over the last 2 years. You certainly know that they can close out a series, but they have not experienced
He had a
the pressure
triple-double
of
in
when
Game
and you're
4.
in the finals to lose and you've screwed up.
With no
They've
turnovers.
played
That's
generally
crazy.
pressure-free basketball for the last couple of
Immediately
years.
the
So,
next game.
I
He
wanna
plays
see how
out
they
of his mind one game. Next game, he can't even.
Now have fallen asleep. Still to come on NBA today.
Wow, Perk was looking. He was looking asleep as fuck. What the hell happened? Perk fall asleep on camera and shit. We got enough time for a couple more videos, man, and then we're gonna slide up out of here. Get ready for this job, and then we'll come back again for the night shift. Where we at? NFL ain't talking about shit. Everybody's still mad because what's his name actually decent. Shit there is actually pretty good. Everybody mad about that shit. Shit is insane. See what they talking about with this Cam Ward shit.
Stop paying for business tool functions. What are you doing? There's Data Button where you can build anything.
Early morning guy, he's here, earlier than some of the coaches, and he gets
quarterback competition. Cam Ward and the Titans are a sleeping giant, and that's very bad news for AFC South fans like me. The Titans went ahead and stole our uniforms from Houston, right? And now they've got a seemingly generational talent at quarterback, and I think he's changing everything. You got Xavier Restrepo speaking about the contagiousness of the hardworking type of player he is. You got offensive coordinators and coaches talking about how he's here beating veteran coaches into the building. Look, I'm a Shador guy, but I'm also a Cam Ward guy. Don't get it twisted. These two gentlemen are cut from the same cloth, and Cam Ward's claw and journey to get to where he has also makes him a different beast in the same animal. Rest in peace, Kobe Bryant. But let's get into it. Obviously, it's been OTAs. We're going to watch him sling the ball. We're going to get into a little bit of news, and then we're going to hear some of the availability, both from some of the coaches as well as Xavier Restrepo and the man himself, Cam Ward. Man, I really appreciate y'all watching.
Cam Ward
with me. Like these videos if you like it. Dislike it if you don't like it. Subscribe.
I'm ready to start seeing quarterbacks to go in the first round not be busts.
A little bit of news. All right.
Especially first overalls, they keep making it seem like they're
Jalen Milroe video. I'll admit to it. I'm a cop to plea. Okay. I was like, hey, Jalen Milroe is stealing Jaden Daniels VR technology. Obviously, he's not stealing it, guys. They're reutilizing it because they've seen how Jaden Daniels and how revolutionary his ability to get better at processing, reading defenses, doing that, and he was able to take that to a completely.
He was using that at LSU too.
Obviously insane.
Anybody could have picked that up by now.
And the key to it is they put the VR goggles on. I'm not sure. I think it's a full headset. You're in there. It's like a special software with extra money you got to pay. You know what I'm saying? NFL secret. But then they speed it up. So for Jaden Daniels, I think he did like 2 times speed as well. So Cam Ward and the Titans are going to be using some of that same thing. So we'll see what that results into. And I think this is interesting because coming out and even with me watching it, Cam Ward is known as somebody who has, some would say, too fast processing. Like he will put balls on the back of people's head. Pause. He will put balls on the back of
this boy said balls on the back of the head
for a good reason, right? The anticipation sometimes can be too much. Like the receivers aren't ready. Now the NFL, that lightning quick twitch reflexes, the balls that look like this right here. You know what I'm saying? Maybe just maybe he'll be able to match the top level
spin on that shit.
With some of these guys connects with Calvin Ridley. That's just a beautiful ball.
That was a beautiful ball.
A few more clips here, and shout out to the
Rooks.
I want to speak on both of the Rooks. You got Gunnar Helm, you got Xavier Restrepo, obviously Mr. 87 out there. Shout out to Gunnar Helm because obviously he's a Longhorn. He's smooth. He's clean through his routes. He is that new era of tight end. But guess what? Not afraid to block. He is not afraid to go do some dirty work. That's how Steve Sarkisian builds.
Let's go.
All right. So you got you one there.
Okay.
You got your dog Cam Ward, and then Xavier Restrepo is just somebody who wants to get open anytime he can and be the best anytime he can. Cam Ward. Now the Titans, shout out. They was playing some Uzi. Okay. But yeah, shout out to the Titans. Always revolutionary in how they get things done with the, you get a
they're revolutionary. They would have kept Tannehill for one more year
I like that.
and stayed away from fucking Will Levis. Spent that shit on a running back.
Hey man, get your reps how you can, right? Any little bit of
they could have got a running back last year, and they got Cam Ward this year. But instead, they got fucking Will Levis last year. That nigga was hot doo-doo garbage.
Let me find out Cam Ward said, hey, let's get that extra. Okay, I'm sorry. Y'all going crazy right now. Little handoff there, looking smooth. Handoff to a beautiful whip of the ball. And is that 3 different Uzi songs? I'm sorry. I can't believe it. I didn't know. Cam Ward leaking it right now. The Titans organization. They are little Uzi Verters. I don't know what that means, but that ball just pops out of Cam Ward's hand as you're seeing it behind me while I'm yapping and doing what I do.
Yeah,
lots
man.
of future too. Hey, and nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with a little bit of Hendrix now. And like I kind of
A little
spoke
bit of
about in my
Himothy.
last video, and it's something that not only have people said about it, people have commented on it, but the command he has, right? Some call it swag, some call it, the kids call it aura, right? But I think it's a command and confidence, right? There's a certain level of, hey man, I'm here to be the best, and I am the best, and I'm gonna operate like I know I'm the best, as we have this slow motion back. So just the calmness. It really feels like he's transforming this organization as we watch it, as we see happen. And again, as
Yeah,
a
I'm covering up
Texans
Brook
fan,
face. I don't
I
care.
hate that.
I don't feel like flipping this
So
shit because of
please
what
be a
people be saying
bust.
to.
Please,
Fuck
please
that.
be terrible. Because it's gonna
Y'all
make
know
me
what
really,
CLB
really
teams look
sad
like.
if y'all keep messing up. Now y'all could be right underneath us. Y'all could beat up on the Jags. I'm fine with that. Y'all, hey, beat up on the Colts. I'm cool with that. Maybe we can work out a little situation where we get, you know what I'm saying, them Oilers uniforms back, and then I don't know. You feel me? Add those to the collection. But let's hear Cam Ward himself speaking about the quarterback competition, quote unquote,
Between him and
that
Will
he's having
Levis.
with Will Levis.
Y'all
And
smoking
obviously with the
dope.
locker
What's going on,
room,
Mara
the
L?
notorious I was trying to
Mara
make a
L.
wrestling joke.
I don't know.
Cameron.
I might have just butchered your name completely. I don't know. What's going on? How you doing?
T Lockett was out here. It's good, James. So
Damn. We still got ads up in this joint, man. We ain't special yet. We ain't got no bread. I feel that. I feel that. I feel that. I'm good. I've been good, yo. Just working, man. Grinding. Trying to keep shit rolling. You know how it is.
no, I've been
Where you
wanting
from? How you feeling?
God bless me with it. So I'm just taking advantage of every opportunity that he gives me. I get to play around some good guys up front. Defensively, we have some good.
We'll be lagging a little bit. Ooh. Taking a tough spill. Lagging tough. Word. From Georgia. Yo, we lagged up. What happened, big dog? Oh, bug. Fresh that shit. We was about here-ish.
Early morning guy, he's here.
Golly. You on a tough band right now. What's going on? What's happening? Whoa. Yeah, we going through it right now. Did my internet drop out? Got a heavy ass spike, man. Because it was trying to give me a damn ad. For real. We got a heavy lag spike because it was trying to force feed an ad in there somewhere. Like, come on, bro.
He's did it for numerous.
And he just gave me another ad after I just. What the Bro, this shit is wildin'.
Amount of years at a high level, so he is the standard. I mean, he's one of the oldest guys in the locker room, so why wouldn't you want to look up to him? And for him to be my locker mate, for him to open his house for me, I mean, it's been cool. Especially, I'm trying to, establish myself like he did.
Damn. Okay. Yeah. I should
I love
finally.
that. I am a big fan of being able to big up people without tearing down other people. And what I'm about to say is no, it's not condescending and meant to underdig Shedeur Sanders, because his confidence in leadership is shown in a way, in a shape, in a
Crazy.
form that some people might find the wrong way, but some people really gravitate towards. And I think the similar thing with Cam Ward. I think some people might not like the answers and the things or whatever, but I think both of them share something equally
Yeah,
true.
my bad,
They
y'all. My
don't
bad. I
care
feel like my
how
shit
you
back
feel or how
regular
you
again
go
now.
about it. They do it the way they want
Tripping.
to do it. They handle it. They want to
Everything
handle
was
it.
freezing
And
up and all
just
that
like
shit.
I
Pop
am
locking and dropping and all that.
confident that Shador Sanders is somebody that people are going to want to lead. I am beyond confident that Cam Ward is someone that you're going to want to lead and lead men and take things over. So again, I'm shaking in my boots as a Texans fan. It's not good to hear this. But again, it's been the consistency that we've heard since Zero Star playing in a wing T offense where he wasn't even able to show off his arm power, the arm angles, and all the creativity that he has. From that, Zero Star recruit FCS Incarnate Ward, then to Wazoo, then Heisman Trophy level season over there at the University of Miami, #1 overall pick, and sadly, he winds up in the AFC South. Praised and poised, which is the right word. I said the wrong word the first time. Poised to make a large change to the Titans organization. And a lot of it starts with bringing in some familiarity. Mr. Xavier Restrepo, you talk about building culture. The thing about having Cam Ward and Xavier Restrepo is that they're both culture guys, right? Xavier Restrepo is that guy. He's a, hey, I'm not the fastest, I'm not the biggest, I'm not the whatever. But the first week of rookie mini camp, they were saying Xavier Restrepo was the first front of the line. He was looking like the most polished receiver that they had out there. And this is what he's had to say about his running mate. And some would say the only reason, or the biggest reason, that he's even in the NFL with a chance.
Found a good spot. No doubt. Just like my whole entire life, I lived my life based on opportunities, and I thought this was the best one.
You got Cam stories for everybody? Did they ask you about him?
I mean, you said Cam?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I could go on and on telling stories about him, but I don't think you guys want to hear those stories.
What's the main thing that sticks out about him?
Just hasn't switched, with all the, praise that he's been getting, still praises the Lord. And, I mean, he's just a hard worker, he's contagious to be around like he was at Miami. And just looking forward to growing a relationship with him.
What do you think about the
Contagious in his hard working. And again, it's one thing to hear that from somebody who, again, last season was amazing for him. That's his guy, right? They come from the same cloth, and Cam Ward was literally on the phone in the same cause as him accepting his draft speech, in the same cause that he was accepting being drafted by the Titans. He was praising for his guy Xavier Restrepo. But then it's another level when actual offensive coordinators are saying things like this.
He's an early morning guy. He's here, earlier than some of the coaches, and he gets in early, and he's very detailed and regimented about how he studies. He's got a way he's kind of learned in the past and kind of taken in new information. So we got with him early, and he said, hey, can we meet this way and kind of do some things? And then it's been really good for him. It's been good for us too.
I really hope Cam pans out right, man.
Understanding that they're
I like him as a player, man.
What I love to hear there is it's not just
do no crazy
I'm
shit
early, but it's also, hey, I'm taking initiative and I'm making the initiative.
Yeah,
right?
that shit,
we're not-
it makes a big
I'm not
ass
gonna
difference.
Be here early just to be early, right? We're also going to do this because when I title this, and it's probably going to be something about him changing or something changing forever. I mean that this is a hyperbolic statement. I think from a lot of the things and a lot of the ways that you see, quarterback can have one of the largest impacts on culture in any other player, right? Obviously, that's why they get paid the big bucks, right? And the fact that he's coming in as a rookie and starting to not demand respect, but pay attention, demand greatness, right? That's very key, right? He's not in there demanding more money or more this or more that. And hey, if he was, I wouldn't be mad at him. I want to make that clear too. But I also want to make it super clear that he's in there demanding, hey, let's meet the right way. Let's learn the right way. How can we teach me, and how can I be better in any way, in every way possible? That shows another level of commitment, right? That you really appreciate. And then more comments here from the offensive.
I can respect that.
He's got that kind of cool, calm confidence. And
I can respect that. I can respect that.
The same guy we kind of met in the pre-draft meetings and the visits and things like that. It's authentic. It's who he is. So that makes it kind of easy for him to be that same guy. And he goes in there. If he screws something up, he's the first one to admit it. He's still got that kind of same cool demeanor. So I think that for him really helps. And it's genuine for the guy. So the guy's always, that's who he is. It's been that way every day since he's been here.
Yeah, Cam Ward. Come out here and do some fire shit. Yeah. be good, be great.
Oh
First
man,
round
like,
pick,
you love
black
to hear that.
quarterback.
And that goes back to kind of the thing I was alluding
And it
to,
go
right?
turn up some shit.
It's not just
That's how it's
it's
supposed to be.
important to distinguish everyone's leadership
Turn
abilities
up.
and
I
the way
want
they
these
get
folks to
done.
turn up.
And I want to put a
Jaden
bow on
Daniels
something too,
turn
because,
up.
oh man, you
That,
talk
that's
about
that, that
Shador a
was
lot.
the
I
blueprint. Now we
watch
got
a lot of
Cam Moore
Colorado.
coming in with the crazy.
Like, I don't
Yeah.
know what to tell you. And I
And they
watch a
not.
lot of
I just hope they don't get into no
Miami
kind
games,
of
so I can
trouble
tell
and
you a
just
lot about Cam
be
Ward. So
five for like
I
turn
don't mean to
franchises
and
around
they
so
also
people can
train together.
take more
They
risk
train
on
with the same
running
exact quarterback
on
coach.
black
They're
QBs first
friends.
round
They are attached to
number
the same
ones
draft
type shit
process
instead
of
of keep
wanting
giving
to
all these bum
preserve
ass motherfuckers like
quarterback
Josh
depth.
Rosen and
They're
all them
going to. We
bitches
talked about
a bunch of
just
chances.
like
Just Sam Darnold
who
some
is it?
shit.
I was about to say Ryan Tannehill and Drew Brees. That's not the pair. Who's it? What's it? Eli Manning. Oh, Eli Manning in Phillip Rivers. I'm getting my football knowledge all messed up, but you know what I mean. When you have those two quarterbacks that are in that same class, they're going to be kind of attached to the hip. I think that's what's going to happen here. But going further into the point that the offensive coordinator was making, like that's what you see from him, right? It's not just a confidence. It's not just, as the kids call, an aura or whatever. It's the fact of the nonchalant. That's what it is. That's what they be TikToking. I see y'all TikToking. And what you get from that is, like you
Not
said,
aura.
like it never feels like it's forced. It never feels like I was looking for that longer video. It never feels like he's panicking in any shape or form. I've been going back, and rewatching, some of the Cal games. Those Miami games were crazy. Like those, like 80% of those Miami games were like 40-point, 20-point comebacks, fourth quarter, this and that, and all. Like they are. If you go, I advise you. If you're a Titans fan, if you're a Cam Ward fan, go on the ACC network. I don't know how many other people do this or how many other conferences. ACC network on YouTube. Go watch. Start with Cal. Go watch Miami Cal. Watch Miami GT. Watch Miami GT last though, because that's kind of, what I'm saying. I don't want to spoil it, but you feel me. And then watch the
Miami
Miami
GT
opener,
was not a good game for them.
and then before you watch Miami GT, watch Miami FSU, because it'll make you smile on the inside. All right, but anyway, not the point. I say all that to say it's a joy watching him, and it's not just a joy watching him, but it's a joy seeing the way people come around him, right? In the way that he's able to uplift others, and the way that people can rally, and the way that people see and gain a lot of inspiration from the way and the coolness of him. And I look, that plus him, strapping on the VR situation, I think he's about to take things to a whole nother level out there in Tennessee, and I couldn't be more upset as a Texans fan. But hey, man, let me know if you're a college football fan and who your football team is. Let me know who your NFL football team is. Dog, we're like under 100 days away, man. I'm so excited. That's when all this yapping, I can yap less, and we can just talk about foosball. But it's been a lot of yapping.
We could just talk about
so
foosball.
Really
It's
appreciate y'all.
funny.
Y'all let me know who y'all are rocking with, so I can make fun of y'all in the conversation below. Y'all know me. I'm a Longhorn, and I'm a Houston Texan. You know what I'm saying? So get your jokes off in the comments. Do what you do. If I see any Sooners, if I see any Aggies, we got problems. All right? Don't let me catch you Aggies down there in the section, cuz. But other than that, man, keep being great. Like the video if you like it, dislike if you don't like it. Subscribe if you want to see more foosball content. Hit the bell icon so you don't miss any foosball content. I already told you were great. Just keep doing that great thing you do, man. Really
Just
appreciate
keep.
it.
I already told you you were great. Just keep being great.
Say hello to motionarray.com. You can take your videos from good to the best and easily be better than the rest.
Try this fire shot. You rock it. Titles and in shows. Go get it. Find fast. Be the best. Just drag it.
I ain't gonna lie, that song was kind of fast. So I really play.
What it is, you gonna make me call him out. Yeah, you know what team? Yeah. All right. Don't make me pull behind the curtains to step in that thing.
I think this is the moment where they're like, whoa. There's been a lot of craziness, a lot of talk about Shedeur Sanders, but interesting enough, we haven't really heard a lot from Deion Sanders, obviously, the legendary Hall of Fame, now well-paid coach of the Buffaloes, former coach of Shedeur Sanders, and just a man of many opinions. But the only thing he's really been expressing is a lot of support for his kids, both Shiloh, Shedeur, as well as, some of the other Buffaloes that made to the NFL. He was recently on Asante Samuel show, though, and he kind of let his feelings be a little more revealed. So we're going to get into that. And then I have some receipts for the things that he's talking about. So if you remember, he called out people lying about Shedeur early on. And at this point, with the big draft fall in perspective, I think this video looks a little different. And then also Deion speaks about, the thing that Mary Kate Cabot obviously lied about. We're not going to spend too much time because we already made a separate video about it, but I just think it's interesting that, again, Deion is also corroborating what I'm talking about. But let's not dilly or dally. Let's get right into it.
They probably just begging with you, like pleading with you, like, Prime, we know how much you worth. We can't pay you that much, but we'll give you as much as we possibly can, man. Just please.
It wouldn't have looked like that. It would have looked like
Please, man. Please, man. We're gonna give you much. I'm taking a pay cut. I'm giving you some out of my salary.
I never want to go anywhere anyway, man. So, I know it was a lot of rumors about the next level, and I can't see that.
Yeah.
I can't see the next level. And I think a couple people who may have taken shots at my kids, they were afraid that I would go to that next level. And that's where the shots came from. All you got to do is just sit back and listen. And watch.
That's all you got to do.
But people don't want to do that. They want to create these narratives and create these stories and then attach them to a kid that ain't never done nothing wrong.
Yeah. How does that make you feel when you see your colleagues or your peers going in on you, man? Like, how does that make you feel?
No idea, man. You have no idea. Like,
because I don't think people be understanding. Like I got kids too. These are our kids. These are our kids.
Blood,
We're
man.
coaches, but these are kids. This is our blood.
And stop lying. Like, you got to understand, my kids are built for everything. We had 2 TV shows, and then we had shows in high school with playing football in junior and senior year. So we've always been in front of the camera, so they know how to navigate. They know how to handle themselves.
Yeah.
And you're not gonna catch them in no foolery and no mess. You're not gonna do that whatsoever. So when you sit up there and say something like he went in a meeting unprepared, like, dude, Shedeur Sanders, who's had 6 different coordinators, who has still functioned and went up, leveled up every time we brought somebody new in, and you're gonna tell me he was
situation.
You're gonna tell me he had on headphones. Shedeur, anybody know my son? Understand he's a professional. Like, he's gonna go into a meeting with headphones on. Like, y'all, come on.
You know what that tells me, Coach? That tells me somebody was looking for something before they even came there. I was already looking for something.
Yeah, that's
looking
true.
for an issue, pre-planned. You know what I mean? But hey, bygones, bygones. Hey, man, we know you a dog. Your kid's a dog, and dogs gonna always rise to the top. You know what I mean? That's what I believe. You know what I mean?
There you go.
For real. But,
but
then we're talking about
it did hurt.
Man, Coach, when you talking about it hurt. It hurt us. It hurt me. It hurt, Coach.
But the Bible says God uses the foolish things to confound the wise. So it was some foolish stuff that went on, but you know what? That gave them something that they needed. Like, that gave them something that they said, all right, that edge that Tom had, it gave them that edge. It gave them that edge that you had. It gave them the edge that I have. When folks say we're gonna be nothing, we weren't gonna be nothing, but we had to prove that. That gave them the edge that they needed. Both of them.
Mm-hmm. He already used to adversity, like I say, come from Jackson State and Colorado, so he built for that stuff. Like you say,
we built for that.
You raised him right. You know what I mean? But like we say, we're talking about Shedeur, and I'm going to talk about Colorado. But being that Shedeur.
And we're gonna maybe we do a separate video about him talking about that, but basically he goes on to talk about the future of Colorado and a few good things, a few good nuggets in there that I kind of want to spend some time on. Sorry, I'm adjusting my mic or whatnot. I'm all out of whack. A few good things, right? First off, let's talk about the lying, right? And we remember we heard about these stories. I don't need to have the screenshots up here because it was the whole, hey, he's arrogant, he's brash, he's whatever.
Right.
2 days before the draft, incidentally, I guess it's come out that the whole he's unprepared. He got mad at the Brian Daboll for doing whatever. Now I want to be honest and say that is it possible that these things happen, or maybe a small kind of version of it? Maybe something was perceived upset and they just turned it up to 10. Maybe I think what's happening is kind of like a game of telephone where maybe Shedeur did something because, like we talk about ad nauseum on this channel, people are going to be rubbed wrong by Shedeur's confidence. Like that's just the world we live in.
That's real though. That's real. Don't be bothered by his
Federal league that we
arrogance. I
live
mean,
in.
his confidence. They don't
There's a
think it's
certain
arrogance,
level
even
of
if it is just a
demeanor, I think,
confidence about it.
from football quarterbacks, especially rookie quarterbacks that are just now doing it. Hey, you're from the Big 12. You're from the like all the things that are perceived on Shador. You know, it almost felt like, and that's why people say humbled. Hey, I let my comments connect the dots there. But that's why people say like the whole humble thing, because it felt like he just didn't fit the mold personality wise on paper. Right, like when you're looking at it, because I think, like I said, when you actually watch him play the game, you actually watch him lead men. I think he is more than enough to be able to do that. But that perception, I think, got twisted up so much that I think, like, like to Deion's point, that don't even make no sense, dog. Are you telling me he had a head? Like, please, if this really happened, like you know, all the memes or whatever, he had to be in there drop kicking people. And again, even if that did
He
happen,
had to be up in there drop kicking people by
that
ass.
negates everything. Again, third round, fourth round, okay, maybe he's a head case. He's so annoying. But again, since that has happened, since the anonymous quotes have happened, I'm going to keep reminding y'all about that. Not one person has been able to say anything negative about Shador and put their name on it. Before draft, pre-draft, after draft, at this point, and we're going to get into that too, because now the Browns media they're surprised. They're like, wait, what? He can throw a football? I thought he was like y'all. See, this is what happens with these narratives. And here's Coach Prime speaking about it. This was back in March when the initial stuff was coming out.
Continuously shine. We like to call that stuff out, though. I know who it is. You're going to make me call him out. Yeah, you know what team he is. Yeah, all right. We don't you got to understand it. I know, but don't make me pull behind the curtain to step in that thing.
We can keep it on the high road. I'm kind of curious, to be honest.
I will try my best to keep it on the high road, but I
He said, I don't know the coordinates or directions or whatnot. He always got a good thing to say. We're going to get to Mary Cabot here in a second, but I think we can all infer that it was probably the Giants that did that, because they seemingly were the link to both bad situations, right? Obviously, the one that came up. Now, there have been other teams that have said some things, but none of them has said anything negative, right? They're you know, I remember Todd McShay, when he was initially reporting it was supposed to be two teams that had something negative, but remember, they said he wasn't disrespectful. I want to keep stressing that even in the anonymous reports of them dragging him and saying he's not quarterback ready, they said, well, he actually wasn't disrespectful, he wasn't rude, but it just kind of I felt small in the room. Y'all remember that quote? I wish I had that one though. One of them, the quote said, the offensive coordinator, he made me feel small because of his.
Why do you get that voice box surgery for that little lad dog compared to the big dog?
It gets a little crazy, man. It gets a little crazy, but again, I think also, now that we're looking back at May, about to be
split out his voice
I think
box.
we can also say that, hey, if
do that shit to that little chihuahua.
because people were like blaming Deion Sanders for the Shador Sanders.
Shut that shit
and while
up.
I do agree that some of that was fair, and 100% I agree that some of that is fair, I think that this was like, I think Deion, that is what it was. I don't think it was him saying, oh, Shador is number one. I think it was this. I think it was him saying that, hey, I'm a peek behind the curtain. Hey, I still have power. I think this is the moment where they're like, whoa. Like, I think they were fine with the whole, he don't want to go here, there. Again, y'all saw what Caleb Williams did. Caleb Williams had a whole, you know what I'm saying? So whatever. I think this is actually the quote that got him in the most trouble. Like, you're almost threatening as a college coach to have some sort of power over a coordinator. Now, again, that's Deion Sanders. That's a Go Jack guy, and you're talking crazy about his kid. So I don't care about that. But I can see how they felt away, and that's probably where the whole, oh yeah, let's take him off the board. I don't like that. I don't like him talking about my people, XYZ. I can see some pride. That makes sense to me. To be honest, some months away, or I guess a month away, that seems to make more sense. But hey, y'all let me know down below in comments what you feel. Going on to Mary Kay Cabot. If you don't remember what Mary Kay Cabot is, again, obviously Deion just said 6
They have
different
a tendency
coordinators.
to different coordinators. I mean, Shador has had Pat Shermer as his offensive coordinator for a long time. He's had his dad,
All
Deion
right,
Sanders,
let's
as
wrap
his.
this up. We're not gonna let her lie for any longer. But I just wanted to point that out too, because Deion Sanders he addressed two things at one time, right? He addressed basically this, which we already addressed, and then he also addressed this, which was a throwback, and I think it kind of all links together. And the other thing that he finally addressed is that, hey, maybe Shedeur Sanders is good at playing football. So here is, first off, if you are a actual Cleveland Browns fan and you're not a Shedeur fan, you're not a just, hey, I'm here to whatever, and I'm here for the hype train, please make sure you follow the dogs because
Is your child struggling with a gaming addiction?
With a gaming addiction? Oh, shit.
Browns podcast. I really appreciate how fair he's been for both Shedeur and Dylan and Joe. It doesn't, there is no bias, right? And I've already told you my bias. Like, I'm a Deion Sanders guy, so that's obviously just going to lend me to a bit of bias. But the dogs does a really good job of doing that too. He shouts out and defends Dylan Gabriel on some of these things. In this clip we're going to watch, Akron Jackson, Zach Jackson says that Shedeur Sanders has been the impressive early on, but makes it clear that Dylan Gabriel doesn't look like an NFL quarterback. Now, I want to highlight this as just, hey, this is how the media is starting to react. Browns media, the Browns podcasts, these are the things that they're getting off. Now, is this just using Shedeur as clicks? Nathan Zagura was on Maggie and Perloff to discuss the Browns rookie quarterback Shedeur Sanders. His ball placement is elite. His ability to layer throws is elite. I think he's got plenty of arm strength. We've seen that on display, certainly in camp at times. Zagura's comments echoed what multiple video clips from rookie mini camp and OTAs have confirmed. Shedeur's ball placement, especially on the corner end zone passes, is as advertised coming out of Colorado. So I don't want you to he is not a Shedeur hater. He is not a whatever, but I think he's akin to me where it's like, hey, he's going to tell you the truth, right? He's going to like, hey, Shedeur from multiple accounts, and this is the actual video.
Shedeur's look good, though. His ball placement is elite. His ability to layer throws is elite. I think he's got plenty of arm strength. We've seen that on display, certainly in camp times. There's something about Shedeur. I got a chance to interview him. He is very confident, but not in a cocky way. Has a lot of belief in himself. I like him. I like the kid a lot. I was very into the Browns taking him in the first round. In my tape study of him, to me, if you can be that accurate, he was so tough. He got beaten up in college. I mean, absolutely annihilated behind that line. Did he develop some bad habits? Sure. But when plays were clean, his ball placement is, I think, elite. And if you can be accurate with the football, deliver, and know where it's supposed to go, you can be very successful in this league for a long time, especially in this style of an offense. Shedeur's look good, though.
Sorry, I didn't mean to play it again. But, and I'm not going to say my issue or I guess my gripe as someone who's, been pretty, pro.
What's going on, Chad? How y'all doing tonight?
It was a fall. He wasn't a fifth
Today.
round talent. Is he
Well, I will
a
say
top
tonight.
5 pick? I never beat that drum. I thought he could be a top 5 pick because of the weak quarterback class. And people have reached for way worse collegiate careers than number one, pass completion, multiple 4,000-yard seasons, extremely accurate, efficient. 9-4 season. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's been a lot.
Yeah, so basically the media did exactly what everybody thought they did. They just lied about Shedeur Sanders not being that good, not being attentive in all of the interviews and all that shit, just so they can get a cheap quarterback somewhere, or a cheap substitute for a quarterback somewhere else that has a shitty quarterback situation.
Drop kicking babies. Like, yeah, okay, third
round. Like,
because,
that's basically what happened. They flexed everything up just so they can get a good quarterback for cheap.
And getting to my gripe,
so the Browns can actually build, I guess.
Yeah.
But the thing is, they still overpaid for a 40-year-old quarterback and a Kenny Pickett.
He's whatever. So it's like at this
and then drafted a kid ahead of him.
And just keep continuing to say it.
I'm
going to sit here and be like, well, we told y'all that. Like, were y'all now? That's my question. Are y'all watching football? Are we all just, commenting stuff? Like, it's almost like they're shocked that somebody with all this tape in 2 different locations, 2 different levels, multiple different wide receiver rooms, multiple offensive coordinators, and finding success, right? But that's not, That is not a pro on him. Dillon Gabriel, obviously, just like Mary Kate painted it, when Dillon Gabriel bounces from team to team, from UCF to Oklahoma, then to Oregon, hunting a top tier roster, that's how some people could, so it's so weird to me. Transfer portal is demonized unless it fits y'all narrative. Now somehow a person who has popped into 3 different teams, that's who. Oh yeah, well he's NFL ready. Not somebody who as you say, Mary Kate, stayed in one place, stayed through adversity, went through a 4-8 season, and then came back and improved.
Mhm.
We don't care about adversity? Nah, we it's a benefit that Dillon Gabriel hopped in the portal all of a sudden. I'm not even mad at Dillon Gabriel. I'm just saying you see how they're setting
Yeah,
up
they spin that
something.
shit how they want to spin
Y'all
it,
was
man.
looking for something, dog.
Spin it how they want to spin it.
I don't want y'all to think that, because sometimes when I make the comment, I think y'all think that I'm like, oh well, they're clearly seeing things, right? Like I think y'all think that they're lying or it's so egregious. It's not that it's egregious. Mary Kay Cabot's lies are egregious. It's that you got to pay attention to how they're framing things. They often are telling the truth, except Mary Kay Cabot. They often will tell the truth with some of this hate stuff, but they're not going to understand that within that truth, it's just how you frame it. You know what I mean?
Collaboration anxiety is real, but it shouldn't stop you from joining your.
How do you frame somebody
Trying to hit me with all these ads. Boom.
How do you frame that to make it his problem? Oh, well, he holds the ball too long. Well, he drifts in the pocket. Cam Ward holds the ball for an extremely long time. Again,
right.
Do y'all watch football?
Right.
Did y'all watch Cam Ward back there dancing? Cam Ward had one of the highest ball hold. I don't think that's how you
ball hold.
But it's cool for him. Cam Ward throws crossbody interceptions, and again, we love Cam Ward over yonder. But I'm just like, where is the framing there? I can frame that like that. I can frame Cam Ward stuff to look like, oh well, look at this. Well, he didn't even make the playoffs, right? He's not a winner. Oh, he had to start from Incarnate Ward and like I can make it seem like he's a problem. Jackson Dart. Oh wow, you couldn't get it done at a quarterback friendly place in USC, and then you took a while to develop at Ole Miss. A one read. Now it's not a one read, but an RPO offense in which most of the things that you were throwing were wide open. You weren't even tasked to actually read defenses like that, even though he's improved on it. Shout out to Jackson Dart. But you get how I can if I was given the big mic, I could frame Shedeur Sanders holds the ball too long. He's this, he's that. He's not the athlete as his dad is. I just, to get from that point to now, people are like, it just leads me to the point that y'all don't watch football, dog. And that's okay. The media is too busy making media. I've been watching reruns. I've been watching Miami reruns. Man, those are some exciting games. But Cam Ward holds the ball for forever. I'm about to get into my Ole Miss bag. I watch plenty of Colorado games. And what you see is a player with plenty of leadership, plenty of intangibles,
plenty of upside,
and way more talent to get the job done. Look, if you're accurate in this league, like many vets have said, you're going to go places. Many Browns legends have said Shedeur's that guy. Now many NFL legends and now media is seeing it and having to say, wow.
Yeah, they tripped out with the Shedeur Sanders joint, man. They tripped out with that, man. They should have been picked up, bro. But now, since they waited so late, they have an extremely good quarterback for cheap as fuck compared to everybody else. So I guess out the door they can pay him. I think his signing bonus was $477 or something like that, and I think he might have got a $4 mil contract for 4 years or something like that. But whereas Cam Ward, number 1 draft pick, ended up getting like a 44 mil for 4 years contract or something like that. I can't remember what it was. Something like that crazy. I mean, it ain't crazy, but it's like, I think it's like a guarantee of like 10 mil a year or some shit like that. So I mean, it's a big difference, a big ass hit in the salary cap area, man. The Cleveland Browns have a whole lot of shit they need to work out money wise and personnel wise. So I mean, it's gonna be a good opportunity for them, but then they still got to deal with all these other people that they paid for, like 40-year-old Joe fucking Flacco and what 36-year-old Kenny fucking Pickett with the little hands. So you know, and then they still got to. They already made a deal with Dylan Gabriel, and his ass is getting paid more than Shadur, and he's not even gonna fucking play. It look like so, you know, they just got a lot of shit to work on over there in Cleveland. They gonna have to figure it out. They gonna have to figure that shit out. But we're finna get on and get up out of here, man. I gotta go make that real money. Real money. Y'all be safe, man. Y'all be good. Everybody have a good one, man. This was the Coffee and Blunts Morning Show with sports news. With sports news added. Yeah. Y'all have a good one, though, y'all, man. Appreciate y'all coming through, man. Everybody have a blessed day.